welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 67. I'm Dave Z.
Hey, everybody. It's Christian. Yeah?
Hello, everybody. Brandon here.
Oh, he's coming in hot.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your mic there?
Don't even talk about his mic. Stop.
I can't believe it.
Please.
I can't believe it. He's starting already.
Stop. Don't bring up his mic. Stop. Let's just continue.
I brought up one thing about his sound, and he was fucking around with his mic for 10 minutes.
I'm OCD. You guys know this. I'm crazy. I'll ask you about this now for the next 6 weeks. But the truth of the matter is, the reason why I came in hot is because I ain't fucking around tonight. I'm serious.
That should be your rapper name, OCD.
OCD.
Right? Yes, an ODB?
Yeah.
OCD?
Oh, I'm OCD. I'm here with iced cappuccino.
I don't know. You're looking a little bloated these days. You're more of a venti iced cappuccino these days. Hey.
Oh, he's on his A game.
The bad jokes are
coming
back.
in hot.
Drink a Timmy's.
Yeah, we're coming in hot too because we got hot coffees. Absolutely, Timmy's.
Am I really coming in too hot though?
No, you're fine now. You were just swallowing the mic before.
Too hot, he says. What the fuck? Who would say that? You're coming in hot. Am I coming in too hot? Sounds like my father would say, what, I got a fever? Am I coming in too hot, Dave?
This is coming from a guy that's wearing a Snuggie. I wish we were filming the visuals here.
I am not wearing a Snuggie. It's just a bed sheet, and I'm not feeling well, and I have an audition for the Klan tomorrow.
Yeah. Either the Ku Klux Klan or your Gladiator 2. One of the two things. I don't know.
Oh, look. It looks like I'm getting a haircut. Nobody can see this, but it looks like I'm getting a haircut.
Toga.
I'm not feeling well. I'm not doing well these days.
You're looking good.
Yeah.
It's about to be a duo show in a few weeks.
Stop it. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's eat. Let's
Patreon,
me and you,
time
Dave.
to raise the Patreon.
Oh.
That was a good comeback, actually. A good follow-up. Whatever.
Guys, we're doing it already. We're doing what the guy complained. We're doing it. We're not on topic. We're not talking about what we're doing on this show. We got a 3-star review. Now, for the first time ever on iTunes.
No, but there's no feedback in that review.
He's 100% right, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what?
Christian is. We got no feedback there. I don't mind a lower rating below 5 stars, but anything below 5 stars, give us a tip as to what you want us to improve on to be 5 stars.
He kind of did.
No, he didn't give us a tip. Read the review, Dave, and then we'll critique the review.
We have our very first ever 3-star
review. Review this.
Yeah, we do. That's right. Yeah, we're gonna round robin review.
Who directed this? What's the director's name?
I'll just read it. This isn't really a shame because it's still 3 stars. So
it's fine.
It's just a funny comment. So we got a 3-star review on July 27th, and Podcast Junkie 64 said, LOL, that was the headline. So at first I saw him, like, oh, okay, LOL, that's positive, right? He's laughing.
He's laughing out loud. This is good.
Yeah, he finds us funny. But then he says, wow, these guys really crack, ... And then in parentheses, themselves up.
100% correct.
We really do. We do.
Laugh at each other's jokes. We laugh at our own jokes, maybe. It's too much laughing. Yes.
You got to get the momentum going, but here's the problem. There's no feedback. How do I get that to 5 stars? Do I laugh more at my own jokes? Do I laugh more at your jokes? Does he want more of that? Does he want? I mean, I don't know where to go with this.
You know what it could be, and this I'll be serious for a sec because this could legitimately be the thing. Is that we have a lot of in-jokes that have just carried on from episode to episode. That sometimes we crack jokes at each other that if you haven't been listening for an extended period of time, you're probably saying to yourself, what the hell are these guys laughing about?
Oh, you're out of your fucking mind. You've been in the sun too long.
Hey, I'm wearing this shirt right now. Nice. Very good. Roy's Revenge today. Nice.
That's a top-notch shirt.
Thanks. Yeah, top-notch. See, now we're laughing. Top-notch. If you want to know why that's funny, go back to the first 10 episodes. What the fuck?
We are fucking ahead of our time.
That's what we're going to do.
I find it weird that since we brought up this review, I have noticed that Christian has laughed at every single one of his jokes.
You've always just noticed that now?
I really just noticed it, and now it's really kind of bugging me. I might have to give you a 3-star review.
I have to edit out half my laughter of my own jokes. When I'm editing the episodes, I'm laughing so hard, my wife is like, that better not be one of your jokes, and I'm not kidding. And I'm like, it is one of my jokes. But don't worry.
You're a funny guy. You
no,
should live.
Funny guy.
As much as I'm saying this, it's totally true, and I'm not being. This is exactly what has happened. I could get my wife down here to attest to it. But when you guys tell jokes, I'm laughing just as hard, and we do. I'm laughing at the joke, and I'm laughing at the laughter within this episode that I'm editing. It's good. I love it. I'm not changing it. It's fucking amazing. I love it, and that's our show.
I love it too. Yeah, it is our show, and you know what? The fact that we're even
one for each of us.
The fact that we're pointing out that we have a 3-star review, that's a great thing because it's the first one. So that means most of our reviews are 5 stars. So I'm just happy because most people enjoy the product, enjoy the show.
I'm proud of our 1-star reviews. The one that for Christian solo cast.
Oh.
How about we had a 2-star review? We no longer have it, but we have a 1-star. The guy had a 2-star review. He changed it to, this is old news. I think we talked about this last year. But so we have had, at our point, we've had a 5, well, many 5s, a couple of 4s, 1 3, a couple of 2s that disappeared, and now a couple of 1s.
We're talking about women or ratings here?
I had more than a couple of 1s.
Yeah, I never fucked a 10, but one night, 5 2s.
Yeah.
I can't do the pop sound that Carlin does. Yeah.
And I think that ought to count. I think that ought to go down as a positive achievement. Yes. 5 2s. I did say we had a ton of 5s, and I guess that is true. Well, let's not talk about sex. Let's not talk about sex, baby. Okay. Anyway, this day and age, it's tough.
I think you just want to get another song out there. I think that's why we didn't get 5. There's too many fucking songs in the show.
Dave's singing, Christian's laughing at his own jokes. I don't know what's going on. I might have to start a solo cast.
Yeah, good luck on that.
At least they'll know it'll be quick. Hey, another inside joke. Let's laugh. Yeah.
Boom! Yeah, inside. Woohoo! Yeah. So we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna do a lot of triple R's. In case you don't know what that is, that's round robin reviews. That is quick reviews, no features. For the first time in a long time, we're not doing a franchise show. We're not doing a series, a trilogy, like we've been doing all year. We're just having some fun today, for once. Well, no, I shouldn't say we don't always have fun, because that came out. But
we're not having fun tonight.
We're just kicking it. Yeah.
Dave decided no fun tonight. You got it, Christian?
I got it. Let's start with the reviews.
We're not starting with the review. You know, fuck it. Let's start with the review.
No. What were you going to say?
Why not? There's a lot of little house cleaning things. We got emails. We got messages. We got things. We don't have to do that now. We could bounce around all show if you want. You want to do a review?
I like this. It's just so loose. It's like
Brandon's asshole. I was about to say.
Very loose. I had to push it back in with a ruler.
A ruler?
I don't know why I chose a ruler.
NES ruler?
NES ruler. All 22 inches.
Boom!
Yeah.
How about that? 82. We're all going to be there. That show.
That's going to be epic. That's going to be epic.
It's never happened. I think one of us is going to drop dead by then. And if that does happen...
Well, don't say my name.
just play it back. Play me, saying, especially if it's me. If I'm dead, please play me back saying this, unless that's what Dave would have wanted. So
I think we all know who it is. Who's the one coming in freakishly hot tonight?
Stop it. If you die, I'm going to kill myself. So
no, we're all going to be there. I watched too many movies not to be there. I have one movie left to watch for 1982. I've watched every one I plan on watching. If I watched anything beyond the one more I have, it would just be like I found a hidden one and I watched it. But Friday the 13th Part 3 is the last film I have to watch.
I just watched that again on the last week.
Yeah, and it'll be number 100 for me from 1982.
See, I'm not even going to go. I'm not even going to try to break the record now because...
No, there's no point. Honestly...
I'm at 20 or something like that right now.
Honestly, that's fine, though. Me and Moods, we do it to have a friendly competition, and it's fun. And I do enjoy seeing all these movies that most of the time I'll never watch again. But honestly, I have about 16 to 18 movies competing for 10 spots. So it is going to be a little bit of a tougher top 10 for me. But if I watched 35, 40 films, that would have been more than enough.
I have 3 movies competing for that last spot, and I know, because I know these movies, I know that I rate them all fucking like 8.5 to 9 or higher. I'm not gonna find some magic movie from that year that I've never seen. It's just not gonna happen. I lived there. I lived through it like Pee Wee Herman, you know. I don't have to. Did you watch The Boogans?
The Boogans.
I thought The Boogans was 81.
No. Did you watch A Lizard with Two Tails?
I thought that was 81 as well.
No. Well, I'm going. Hold on now. Before I start spouting off at the mouth, I'm going by Duncan's rules. Because on Podcasts Under the Stairs, he's doing this thing. It's really fucking awesome. So props to Duncan. Love you, dude. He's doing this thing where at the end of they're doing 80, 81, 82. They're doing one show a week. And
Okay.
he has 2 different guests come on each show, and they each bring 3 movies to the table for 9, and then they decide on one together to make it 10, but they start with 15. Long story. I'm trying to explain it the best I could. But the way he does it, I don't know, but I listened to his show the other day. It was 82, and those movies were being discussed. So I don't know what to tell you.
So September 25th, 1981 for the Boogans.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
So fuck
Okay.
Duncan.
Fuck Duncan, drink a Timmy's.
Maybe it came out where he is in 1982 because he's in the UK. So
Let's do this.
want to do a review, and then we'll do some house cleaning?
Fucking A.
What do you guys want to do first?
Who's watching Oliver?
We have to give props out there to Russell Jeffrey Banks, he's in our group, who's in a lot of our podcast groups. He runs with the homies, and he sent it over. He's the star of the film.
And the writer. There's 3 writers. He's one of the writers, and obviously the star.
Well, there you go. And it won 11 Best Picture, 4 Best Actor, and 2 Supporting Actresses.
Academy Awards?
And many nominations and official selections. Not Academy Awards.
BAFTA?
Here's something.
BAFTAs at very least, right?
Yes.
Did it win
Gravitas?
Best Line of the Year? Long time no see, cunt.
Nice. What a film.
Oh, this took me by complete surprise. Right away, taken by the production design. I thought it looked top notch. It looks good, technically sound, lighting, editing, sound design, all way above what I was expecting. I know that's a weird thing to say.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep. I'm with you.
I think you said it perfectly. Even just from the opening title sequence, the music, everything, and then when you get into the film, the acting, in particular, Russell Jeffrey Banks, I thought he was terrific.
I said the acting is spot on too. Oliver is suitably creepy. I said at first I wasn't sure if it was overplayed, but almost within minutes I was like, nope, this is spot on. I was into it.
It was spot on because I found myself throughout this film really cheering for this character.
Yeah.
I wanted Oliver to overcome what he was dealing with, and well, I'm not going to spoil how that turns out, but
yeah, this is new and it's not really out for main release. Well, I think it is now. It might be now.
Yeah, by now it's out.
Yeah, like you do feel sorry for him, and that's a testament to both his performance and the whacked out performance of Mother.
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
How did they get this woman, Mama Margaret Roche? How did they get her? How did she read this script and they get her to do it? She must be a friend.
I mean, she says the line, "Long time no see, cunt." Yeah.
Every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds, it seems like she's dropping the C word.
Oh,
and it's great too. She's horrifying in it.
Let me see your asshole.
Yeah, but you can't help but laugh too because you're like, holy, it's so bonkers. Like, fuck her, you idiot. Like, it's creepy and like she calls her son an idiot at the same time. For those of you out there, she's not physically in front of him, but she might as well be. He has to open up. It's even creepier. He has to open up a computer, laptop, and the webcam is focused on him, and we just see a close-up shot of Mother. She's always drinking like a cognac or something like that, right? What is it?
Yeah,
like a drink.
She's drinking something.
And she makes Oliver bring home girls to rape and kill in front of her.
Yeah, to get herself off.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's reluctant throughout the whole entire film. I mean, you can tell like this character is tormented. You learn more about his childhood, what his mother did to his father, and what she did to him. And you learn so much, and you really you begin to feel for Oliver very quickly. So you're cheering for him throughout the film to sort of overcome his mother. And that's really what the story is, and his relationship with this one girl he meets, it's very surreal almost, their encounters, especially in that. What country is this taking place in?
Australia?
Yeah, they're in like some amusement park. There's gondolas, and it's
No,
just,
I think it's like not Indonesia, but it's not Australia. You say Australia?
Now I'm smelling like Indonesia. No, I think it's Australia.
he just said no. I said Australia. After you said, did you say Australia?
No, I'm saying no. I did say Australia, not Indonesia. Oh, yeah. Okay, whatever.
No, it's not Australia, that's for sure. But
It's not?
No, everybody's Asian in the movie.
It could be like Thailand or something.
Yeah, it's not Kansas. And the crazy thing is, though, you're right about the surreal. I almost feel that that's the biggest weakness, but I can't even say if it's a weakness yet because, again, I'm going from one watch here. But if I have to review what I thought from the first watch, their encounter is a little convenient. And because it's so awkward, as we're just kind of forced into it, and she just starts talking about her dream and whatever, it is weird. And ultimately, I just said it was too convenient. However, if you can get over that, and it's not a big part of the movie, the relationship does develop quite well thereafter.
Yeah. But that opening conversation with the dream, and she's talking about piano music, he immediately calls her out for lying and walks away from her initially. So it's like, I understand. To me, that was, I don't want to say weakest either because I really enjoyed this film. But so the character Sophia was maybe the least believable thing until it really started to pick up in the second and third act.
And again, when I say weakest, again, maybe it does sound like I'm coming down with a mallet, but I don't mean that harshly at all. I'm just trying to nitpick on some of the, if I have to find something that didn't gel with me the first time through, it would be that. That was the thing that I was like, just a little convenient, as I keep saying.
Yeah.
But
I think they made it right. And I'll tell you, I've had this complaint before watching films, and especially with Eyes of My Mother. I don't know if you remember me saying this, but it's been a few movies I've said this. I'm like, how the fuck? How do these people just not have jobs? How does every day this happen and nobody has a job? Now, that was what I was thinking as I'm watching this film. I'm like, every day at 3 o'clock, they're in this park. I'm thinking, he's walking around with a camera. Maybe he fancies himself a photographer. Maybe mama puts him up. And then with her, I'm thinking,
it's the least she could do.
How is she right? How is she there every day? Doesn't do these people not work? But then later on, when we learn more about her character, I think it makes sense. So I can now excuse that, at least on her part, because of what we learn about her and where she's coming from.
Interesting.
So, you know what I mean?
I like
she's
that.
mulling around the park, and she just happens to encounter him the day he goes the first day, and then he comes back, and she is doing her thing for reasons that we learn later. So why not? Why doesn't he have a job? I don't know. But whatever. I'm not going to, like I said, maybe mother is
I can buy that.
financing them.
I can buy that. The thing where and you have to suspend disbelief for movies with this is sometimes it's like, well, how do two people of this mind find each other? Like how, like
Happens all the time in real life. What about when two people fucking get together and they kill a kid or they do that? You know what I mean?
I know it just seems so convenient in the movies, though. I know it happens in real life, obviously, but it just I don't know. It felt a little forced.
Yeah, but think about it. Who the fuck? Think about how a guy hooks up with a woman. This happens all the time, right? And they do things to she lets this guy do cruel things to her child, and he wants to do cruel things to her child. Think about the odds of those two kind of people getting together, and it happens a lot.
I guess it's crazy attracts crazy, and that's where the surreal comes into play. And like I said, it was a hiccup, but because they build on it, it's forgivable. Because it propels the story forward. That, and Brandon, you said earlier that you felt sorry for him and he was reluctant. I didn't see reluctance until he became enamored by Sophia. That's where the reluctance really.
Yeah. Well, Sophia is the key to that, to showing.
Yeah,
the catalyst
for the turning point for in him, and that's it. He wants to change it. How heartbreaking is it when he's like, I got to tell mama, I got to tell mother, I got to tell mother. And then she makes him do what she makes him do, which no mother should make a kid do in front of her.
Oh. Boy.
And I was just like, wow, man. Like, you're just like, this is just.
He's just crafty, though. He's crafty. He tries to pull the old switcheroony.
Yes. Yes, he does. I like it. How about when he picks up that girl?
Spin her around. I want to see her asshole.
Yeah, I love that part.
Oh my God!
We love you long time.
I'll tell you what. The acting, everything about this film for a low budget film is really on point. The one thing that I would have liked to have seen done just for a little bit more of a mystery to the end is I would have cut that end credit scene by like a split second. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
I agree.
I still think it could be ambiguous, but I don't think it's as ambiguous.
Yes, and that's unfortunately, and knowing me, it's probably coming as a surprise. But unfortunately, I didn't want that to be the case.
Yeah, me either. Wow, that is shocking coming from you.
I know.
I didn't want it either. I didn't want it either, and I'm not sure if it did maybe affect my overall rating a little bit, but ever so slightly. How come none of us have mentioned that the female lead, she's striking.
Yeah, no, she's been in a bunch of stuff. Sarah Lane. Oh my God, look at this. This is interesting. I have our IMDb page open. She was born in Thailand.
This is Thailand. This is where this was taking place.
I just said Thailand before, and so that must be it.
He said Indonesia, didn't he?
No, he said Indonesia. I said Thailand.
Oh, look at you, B. Fucking B is coming in hot.
B dropping knowledge coming in very hot.
See?
It does say countries of origin, Thailand and the United States. So I guess it is Thailand.
So we're really not that special for figuring it out, considering it says it right here on the page.
Yeah, but you didn't look it up. You knew it naturally. That's what I'm saying. That's props, man. Thailand. You're hotter than Thailand. Thailand's hot, right?
As Paris Hilton says. That's hot.
She's hot too. How about those girls, though, man? How about that line that he pulls on that one girl? It's great when he goes into the bar and he picks up the one girl and he says, "Look at me. Of course I do drugs," he says. You don't expect that from him because he knows he looks like a weirdo. Usually weirdos don't know they look weird. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen movies like this before. Like, even this year, Cat Sick Blues. You get this fucking crazy wackadoo. I don't think you guys have seen it yet, but a similar thing. A real weirdo going out and killing people. And you see, did you guys see that film last year? Oh, what was that? Kind of similar to this. Remember, he pretended to be a photographer. Oh, what the hell was it? It was a good film. And then at the
end, 13 cameras.
No.
Camera
he
Obscura?
pretended.
No.
Was it Camera Obscura? He pretended to be a photographer. He met some guy and he wanted to be. He met the guy at the ice cream truck, or he was selling something, and he wanted him to sell things for him. And then damn it! And then at the end, he got the girl. Well, it'll come to me later. But I've seen films like this with a weird, lead. And it was cool. This goes along with them, but I enjoyed his performance a lot, and I like you said that. He's like, "Look at me." He's like, "Of course they do drugs." It was great stuff. But none of us have mentioned one thing: the kills we get.
Oh my God!
Fucking good shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Gore
Crazy.
done right. Gore done right.
Mm-hmm. Gordon.
And they're
Gore done right.
Oh, okay. Gordon. He Gordoned himself.
Gordon Wright.
Gordon Lightfoot.
No, it is disturbing. This is like probably, I know we have a Maniac remake, but I thought of Maniac 1980 while I was watching this movie a little bit.
Yeah, that exploitation sort of sleaze feel to it, whereas Maniac remake is more of an art house version of the original sleaze. This definitely takes it back to that sleaze feel.
This was a big surprise.
In a good way.
I'm so glad I saw it. I can't wait to watch it again. Like, I'm coming in right now. I'm at a full head explosion, actually.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Wow. I am at a half head explosion. I quite enjoyed it. Not quite at a full. Actually, yeah. Man, I think I should watch it again. I think I should.
Yeah, I got to admit, your rating has me wanting to watch it again because I'm also in that half head explosion. Still a solid rating if I had to give it a number, but definitely a second view will help. You think he was kidding around when he said, "I guess I do have a cat"? You think he was feeding the cat the whole time? Or did he really forget that he had a cat?
Maybe that's not his cat. Hey, I've learned something.
What a
about
performance!
Cats.
A really good performance by this guy.
Bad Boy, Lover Boy. That was the movie I was thinking of.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
You guys didn't see that? I think it's on Prime.
You raved about it last year.
You should.
A lot of people did. A lot of people raved about it. I know JP loved it as well. You
should see it. The character, like he's a weird character, like this is, and he starts killing. But this guy. Good stuff. This is the movie where you mentioned Maniac. This is the film where you actually see the abuse taking place, where most of the time, movies like Psycho and Maniac, etc., we don't get to see that aspect of it. It's always, it's their mother's past, or they, you know what I mean? This, we're seeing it firsthand, and I really felt for him. I really did.
Yeah, mother was right there, front and center.
Yeah.
Wow. The craziest, creepiest performance of the year. He's like sane almost in comparison.
He is.
That's
he
how
is.
fucked up Mother
he
is
doesn't
in
want
this
to do
movie.
this, and he's happy he found Sophia, and he really wants to go straight in his ways.
Yeah, good stuff. So
Yeah, very good.
we could just tell everybody to check it out.
Oh, definitely. It's a definite checkout. Who's watching Oliver?
All right, who's watching Oliver? So far, so good. Let's do an email. We got some emails. We got some messages. We're bouncing around. We got to read this one. I got to read it, unfortunately. Okay, but our homeboy is back. SC. Steve Carpenter is back
In action.
with a Stephen Carpenter email.
Oh, no.
Yep. Sorry, ongoing joke. If you guys haven't, go back to episode 1 and catch up. But this is a Stephen Carpenter email for sure. Okay. Greetings, fuckers. It's your good buddy SC, a.k.a. Stephen Carpenter, finally writing into you guys again. According to my Gmail account, the last email I sent you guys was in February of 2017. Wow. No shit. I can't believe it's been that long. I'm so happy people have been listening to the show and enjoying it, and you have kept it going consistently. I know the time you guys spend preparing for shows is enormous. Since then, a lot has happened to me. For one, I started a serious relationship with a girl. That's what happened. And I ended up moving in with her in July of 2017.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks for
Turns
rubbing
out-
it in.
Oh, please tell me the next sentence isn't turns
Oh,
out.
no. Now I feel like an asshole. Turns out what?
Turns out that was a big-ass fucking mistake.
No! Sorry. Spoke too soon.
Poor SC.
See, that's why I never read these to you guys or share them with you till
You
show
can't
guys.
get this type of stuff out of us if you read it to us ahead of time.
No, this is the way to go. Then my luck got even worse. On Friday, October 13th, 2017, when my now ex-girlfriend and I went to a haunted house in my area. Everything was going fine until we got to the end of the haunted house. And there was this giant slide you go down to end the haunted house. Well, my ex-girlfriend went down the slide first, and she only made it about halfway to the bottom before she stopped. The guy at the top of the slide told me to go.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. He didn't kill her, did he?
told me to go ahead and go while my ex was still only halfway down the slide.
Oh,
and
no.
so I went down the slide feet, and I ended up running into my ex feet first, hitting her with a crazy amount of pressure on the foot that I hit her with. Oh, sorry, it's not funny, but well, it kind of is. She's okay, so it's okay to laugh. The people at the haunted house helped me get up, and a paramedic checked me out. He didn't think it was broken, but he couldn't be sure. They asked if I wanted to go to the hospital in an ambulance, and I said no. My ex then helped me to the car, and we went back to our apartment. I was in an insane amount of pain, and after trying to wait until next morning, I finally decided I needed to go to the hospital around 3:30 or 4 a.m. I went to a local emergency room, and they took x-rays of my foot. They discovered I had broken 2 different bones in my foot.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my God.
And then I would need surgery to repair the damage. Man,
Whoa.
talk about a shitty Friday the 13th, I'll say. And to top it all off, before I even went to the haunted house that evening, my family and I had to put one of our beloved dogs to sleep due to very poor health and old age earlier that evening.
Oh,
wow. That sucks. That's the worst.
That sucks.
Speaking from experience, that's the worst.
Yeah. So about a week later, I had surgery to repair my broken foot. Thankfully, the surgery went fine, but due to the severity of my injury, I was non-weight bearing on my left foot for about 6 weeks. So during all that time, the only way for me to get around was to use this little knee scooter. Here is a picture for reference. Wait a minute. Where's that
I seem to
picture?
remember him posting about the foot problem. I didn't know how he got the foot problem.
I don't see a picture. I was going to show you guys the picture. I don't see one here. There's no attachment. You bastard.
I thought
Okay.
his ex-girlfriend was going to get hurt, not him.
Yeah. I thought you were still in the slide.
Yeah.
She was. He kicked
He
her.
did.
That's how he hurt his foot.
He slammed his foot into her, but he hurt his foot.
Maybe she's like 300 pounds and he's 150 pounds, and that's what happened.
We don't know if they got back together. You're not at the end of that email yet.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't matter. Who cares if she's 300 pounds? Like, he can't love her? I'm just saying. Anyway, Shit. So I had to use that for 6 weeks to get around. Then I had a walking boot for another month or so. And when I was finally able to walk again on my own, well, kind of. From about January to mid-March of 2018, I had to go to physical therapy a few times a week to learn how to walk again. Wow, that's serious.
You forgot how to walk?
Yeah.
You put one foot in front of the other.
Got to put one foot in front of the other, put the other foot
down.
down.
Got to put one foot in front of the other, put your other foot down. You got to put one foot in front of the other, put your other foot down.
Revenge of the Nerds, right?
Yes, of course. Revenge of the Nerds. I love that fucking movie. Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, shit. Yeah, that was quite the fucking ordeal. I was in a great deal of pain for a good chunk of that time, but thankfully now I am pretty much back to 100%. Woo! All right.
Good to hear.
I just started listening to you guys again, really, at the start of July 2018, once I was done with work for summer. I work with kids, and I did summer school, so I was busy at work until the very end of June.
Wait, they lifted the restraining order? Good for you, SC.
He's doing all right, yeah. Life is good. I freaking loved what you did with episode 50. You guys recommended so many good slashers, many of which I had not even heard of. Luckily, thanks to Amazon Prime, many of these films are actually free to watch with a Prime account. So I'm going to be hopefully watching some of these films you guys discussed on the show in the coming weeks and months.
Prom Night 4.
Yes. What do you say? Halloween 4?
Prom Night 4.
Oh, that too. Yes. I also recently listened to your episode on the most disturbing films as well. And there are some films on there that I definitely want to see that weren't on my radar, like Kidnapped, Red, White, and Blue, Men Behind the Sun, and Lilia Forever, just to name a few. Those are all freaking Bees movies. Look at you, homie. Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. I told you, I ain't fucking around tonight. I'm coming in hot.
See, this is just what you needed. Okay. This is SC, so I got more. In terms of more recent horror movies, I was finally able to check out Terrifier, which I fucking loved. I thought the film was absolutely brilliant, and the performance by the actor who plays Art the Clown was masterful. I know Art also appeared in the film All Hallows Eve, which I saw long ago and don't remember much about. But I think after liking Terrifier so much, I will have to give it another watch. I would also love to see a Terrifier sequel as well, and from the way the film ended, it looks like a real possibility. I think Art the Clown has a shot at becoming a horror icon if he is handled correctly.
That's an interesting statement. I like that.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Exactly, why not?
He's already kind of a cult one. So it's good. One more movie, absolutely, it will happen.
Yeah, he could at least be Victor Crowley. You know what I mean?
At least.
You're at least a Victor Crowley.
Another film, yeah, he's on that level. You know, where horror fans know him. Not everybody knows him, but
that's true. But maybe reaching mainstream audiences.
Maybe, yeah. He'll be on Saturday Night Live in a year. Hey, it's Art the Clown! Okay. I'm also very excited to go back to the back catalog of episodes. I'm especially looking forward to revisiting the Nightmare on Elm Street films, the Evil Dead franchise, the Reanimator films, along with many others. Well, sorry for writing you guys a fucking novel in this email, but I thought you might get a good laugh or two out of my broken foot story. You thought right.
We did.
Well, not only did he send us an extremely long email, he sent me a copy of his x-rays. And I looked them over, and the good news is there are no fractures.
What?
You did not need the boot. Move on.
I didn't get it either.
Move on.
Okay, move on.
Moving on.
Keep up the awesome show, gentlemen. And hopefully you will hear back from me again soon with another novel of an email. Haha, my man. Thanks, SC.
Awesome.
Brandon,
I want to know the joke.
sad.
I want to know the joke.
Don't forget he gave all your movies heavy props.
Yeah, no, that was good. No, there was no joke. I was just making a joke since he sent us that long email that he sent me his x-rays. That was the joke. He didn't really send me his x-rays.
Okay, let's move on.
I thought you were giving him the Dr. Lipschitz or something. Okay, sorry. Don't be sad. They don't all land. It's
You're
okay.
right. Yeah. You're right. We should move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
I would actually like to stay on this for a little bit longer.
I don't want to.
You know what? Let's bring it back to these X-rays.
Oh shit.
Uh,
Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street and franchises, I got a message from Jim Kay, and basically, he asked us if we could do a top 10 of Nightmare on Elm Street franchise kills. And because he says, he said he hadn't messaged in a while because I heard the Nightmare shows and they were lots of fun. I was thinking it might be cool for each of you to do a top 10 kills for the franchise as a segment on a future show. And I was like, well, maybe Christian could, but I know Brandon and I cannot remember. It's too late, even though we just did it a freaking couple months ago. I could not sit here and do a top 10 Nightmare on Elm Street kills.
No, I could.
Really?
I could have one. I could do probably a top 5 right now, but yeah, no, I think I could do a top 10.
Really? Well, I guess I'd have to look at movie by movie and then say, look, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened.
It is kind of hard off the top of your head because after part 3, the characters' names all get muddled.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even have to be the character, just the kill. That's all people care about.
No, I'm trying to remember how each person died after that.
Oh, there you go. See, I don't know.
Face sucking, number 1.
Face sucking. Oh boy, you want to suck face? No. I love that she says no. Did I mention that on the show when we did it? I don't know. Usually nobody gets a chance to respond, and she gave the right answer. No, that's fucking great. Anyway, it's a little nuances like that I dig. I thought it would have been a cool idea if we thought about this at the beginning of the year of the franchise, that when we're done at the end of the year, we could just give our top 10 or top 20 for all the franchise we covered. Wouldn't that be great?
So we can do it.
You know how hard that's going to be? You think I can remember a kill from one Missed Call trilogy at this point? I cannot.
Obviously, there's not a memorable kill from that trilogy then if we can't remember it.
Well, there's probably memorable kills from Nightmare on Elm Street, and I can't even remember them. You know what I remember? The two great ones. Tina, fucking Johnny Depp, and a couple from Nightmare 3.
Well,
I don't know.
At the end of the day, that's where most of them are coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, that 10th spot, because most of them would be taken from part 3, but that 10th spot, I figure, would be Carlos's with his head exploding.
I think Carlos would be even higher. I think Carlos would be maybe in the 6th, 7th spot.
It might be. Yeah, Carlos is a great death. You're right. That's one great thing about that film.
Spencer, top 3. Boing, 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 boing.
Fuck you. We're gonna do it. We'll do it as a post on our page.
Yeah, that's fair. I could do that.
Yeah, just for Nightmare, huh? Okay. Why the hell not? I was thinking about, at the end of the thing, thinking about all the franchise and doing a one giant list, but who could remember?
Well, we already did our top 20 kills, I think, anyway, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, of all time, sure. Yes, we did. And a couple of Nightmares are on there. Anyway, whatever. I thought I'd put it out there, but Jim K, as usual, was a good idea. So.
Oh, and Jim, I got your x-rays. You don't know how happy that makes my heart, fellas. Thank you. And yes, I'm talking to you, Dave, and you, Christian. I brought back the biggest failed joke of the season and got a laugh out of it.
Yeah.
5 minutes later.
See? You rebounded. Yeah, that's a nice rebound.
We're laughing at you.
That's fine.
I'm kidding.
Laughing at you. Woo. Okay. Shall we do triple R's? Regular style.
Yeah, let's do them.
You know? All right, let's do them. Who wants to go first? I guess I will. Nobody wants to step up. Let's see. Okay. This first movie is called Unsane.
Oh,
and,
shit.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it's one of my triple R's also.
Oh, it's a group one. Nice. This is
So I'll just jump in with you.
Well, I don't know. Between the two of us, maybe we'll remember something. Because remember, I'm going in order, so I watched this one the longest ago. So
Okay, that's
let's
fine.
see. You know. So basically, the story is about a woman, and we could see that she has a past. Something happened to her in her past, and she goes on break at work. And as she's on break, she goes to a counselor, and she speaks to this counselor, basically just on her lunch break. And here come the basicallys. And and the counselor asks her a few questions, and she says at one point that it's hard to go on living like this.
Yeah, she made a crack about suicide, and
not necessarily though. That's what I'm saying. It was kind of misconstrued. Just because she says it's tough to go on living like this.
Yeah, no, but it was viewed as, something being said about potentially being harmful to herself, and so they voluntarily committed her for, what was it, one night?
Yeah, so they say, well, because you mentioned something, we're taking that as a suicide watch. We're going to have to keep you here. So they end up keeping her in this freaking place, which is like a hospital, apparently.
Yeah, Highland Creek, like a rehab facility.
Okay, so they keep her in there. And of course, I mean, this woman's just going to talk about, some issues that she has. She's doing fine. She's going to get a promotion at work. She seems like she has a good head on her shoulders. She's attractive, has a nice personality. She seems pretty together, But of course, she's gonna lose her shit when they lock her up. So she's like, "Well, what is it? This is bullshit. I just came here to talk. There's a misunderstanding." And the longer they try to explain things to her, and the longer it goes on, she gets a phone call. She's flipping out and everything. Who did she call? Do you remember? The police.
She called the police. Yeah.
Then she called the police.
Then she winds up getting into a fight, and they wind up extending her stay.
Yes.
And it gets out of hand. But the whole backstory. This is your review. I'll let you talk. I don't know why I'm.
No, you can add in because hey.
No, I was gonna say the whole backstory is that Claire had a stalker. Well, right. Claire's her real name in real life. Claire Foy. She's a huge star. Most people know who she is. She's a huge actress.
Is she?
Yeah, she is. She plays Sawyer, and she had a stalker in the past, so now she's prone to seeing her stalker out and about, even when he's not there. And so she gets committed to this hospital, and it turns out that her stalker has followed her to this city and actually got a job at the hospital that she was committed at.
Right.
Which seems a little convenient.
Yes, but now here we are as the viewer saying, is she flipped? Has this happened? Is this really him? The guy's acting. I don't know what you're talking about, but my name is, whatever the hell he said his name is. My name is
Yeah,
Robert
he says his name is, I think he says his name is George. Yeah, he says his name is George Shaw, but he was...
Yeah, and she's like, "You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I watch you play for the Lakers every night." And he's like,
"Hey, no, you ever seen a Chris $50 bill?"
My name is Robert Murdoch. I fly the plane, But
I'm the co-pilot.
That's right.
People are like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Like we just broke into airplane chatter.
It's great. Woo! So anyway,
I was on board though. I'll tell you what. The minute their interaction between Sawyer's and George/David's character throughout the film is the highlight of the film. They're two really terrific actors, and that whole back and forth and the cat and mouse that they're playing is really, really well done. And the underlying themes about how the insurance system is corrupt and they're basically putting healthy people behind padded walls just to get payouts from the insurance companies. It's a great underlying theme that's covered, and you have the character Nate, who's played by what's his name from Saturday Night Live, Jay Farrow from Saturday Night Live is in there. There's a lot of noticeable names in there. You got Amy Irving in there, who plays Sawyer's mother.
Yeah, and she was good, and then she gets involved, and you're like, okay, well she finally gets a hold of her mother, and she's like, hey, because she's gonna lose her job, all this. Now it's 7 days she's going on, she's locked in there. She gotta get the hell out. What is this? You know what I mean?
And it's nice to see that the relationship with the mother is one where the mother instantly believes her and is on her way to take care of shit. Not oh honey, this is for your own good. Not that bullshit. Right. You're in trouble. You're in distress. I'm coming to help you, and she's there the next second.
Exactly. It's good. It's a good movie.
It's a very good movie.
It gets a little wild in the third act. It's as much psychological thriller as it is horror, but I think it definitely counts. It definitely, especially when things are revealed and we find out how and the why and the whole stalking thing and what goes on in the third act. It's pretty good. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to it? Me, it's another half head for me.
Yeah, it's a high half head for me. I was very impressed. I was going in with high expectations because I know a lot of people have been talking very positive about it, and I wasn't let down. It was nice to see Juno Temple in there also as Violet. I love Juno Temple.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. It was a good cast of characters. Good story. A fun film. I liked it.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say fun. It's kind of depressing and disturbing, but fun in the sense that it's a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. You clicked along just right. And,
moved at a really good pace.
Cool. Well, I guess that counts as our first triple R between the two of us. So see, what do you got?
Okay, well, I watched a film called Cake Jerk It.
Pyewacket?
I finally saw Pyewacket. It's on our movie network, HBO Canada. It's been on there for a little bit, and I finally watched it, and I really enjoyed it. Ultimately, I know, Dave, you talked about this earlier in the year, and then Watson came on, and you guys made Cake Jerk It jokes for fucking ever. And Brandon and I just sat there and laughed.
Wait, didn't I make the Cake Jerk It joke?
You called it cake masturbation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You changed it to Cake Jerk It.
I turned it to Cake Jerk It.
Yeah. Damn, how did I come up with cake masturbation? That's terrible.
It is terrible. In other words, kind of a simple story told matter-of-factly, but don't let that dissuade you from seeing the film, because it's actually well acted. And really, at the end of the day, it's focusing on this girl and whatnot. She lives with her mom. Her father's passed away. They're going through some troubled times. She's kind of into metal and hangs out with friends that are sort of into darker things. However, she takes it one step further and puts a spell to have her mother killed. And that's really all I'll say from a plot standpoint. Again, the performances I thought were great. I maybe have a soft spot in my heart because I think this was filmed in a small northern...
I want to get an X-ray.
It's just one more. I'm just keep giving them back to him.
Wow. You going to review X-Ray tonight too, B?
Hospital Massacres up next.
Nice.
It was shot in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. It's a smaller movie. I don't think there's a lot of hidden messages or themes in this film, but I thought it was very entertaining, and I thought it was incredibly creepy. Some people said it was a slow burn. I actually thought it was a very well-paced film.
Normal pace.
Normal pace.
Not slow.
I like what you said there about not seeing a lot of depth in there, because that was my biggest issue with it. And I owe it a second watch, especially towards year end. But Dave and Watson talked about it like there was a lot more below the surface, and I didn't feel like it was scratching that much below the surface. So, but I'm definitely going to give it a second watch, but because I wasn't as high on it as they were.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't crazy high.
I'm just saying.
The thing is, how are you going to interpret it?
That's true.
Well, that's where, okay, I mean, there's that element, but I don't think you can be waxing intellectual all night about it. It's a half-hit explosion. There is the ending there will have you questioning a few things, and you can interpret it. That's where the conversation will stem from. And well made all around, half-hit explosion, Pyewacket. Check it out.
Boom! 2018, off to the races. All right, so another movie that we all watched and are going to discuss is a new one on Shudder called Ruin Me from 2018.
Yeah, you know what? I'll start with this one. There's a little bit of history I have with this. Preston DeFrancis, I don't know him, but he reached out to me via TGIF 13 and just mentioned that he was a fan of the show. I didn't even know he had a movie at that point. And then he happened to reach out and say, hey, by the way, I have a film, and it's playing at a festival in Hamilton. Do you think you'd have a chance to go check it out? And Vince lives there. I live close by. I'm like, that would be awesome. But the timing just wouldn't work out. It was Ruin Me that was playing at this festival. So I just said, hey, do you know when it's going to have further distribution? He says, well, there's something being worked out. I'll have more information in the summer. And I guess that has become the Shudder exclusive and why we have Ruin Me now. Now I've watched the movie. I like the movie. I wanted to love the movie. And I've watched it. I've watched it two, and I tried to watch it a third time before the show again, just to give it as much views as possible before talking about it. And
it's got elements of other good films. It reminded me of Fear Inc.
Yep.
Meets April Fool's Day, sort of.
There's a perfect little comparison.
And that's high praise, because those are two really good movies. I'm with you on the wanting to love it. I love the characters and the setup. You want me to? I'll read just the description just so we.
Sorry, that was my back. No, you go right in.
We're not doing anything structured tonight. So, Alexandra reluctantly tags along for a slasher sleep out, an extreme event that is part camping trip, part haunted house, and part escape room. But when the fun turns deadly, Alex has to play the game if she wants to make it out alive. And Alex's backstory is she's a former addict, and there's many flashbacks throughout this film to her ex-boyfriend and her ODing, and she's on the slasher campout with her current boyfriend Nathan, who's just infatuated with her and loves her dearly. And they meet up with I like the group of characters that they meet up with. I thought everybody was fairly likable. I think where it kind of falls apart for me is in the climax of the second act, and definitely in the third act.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is it wants to be too many things. So the slasher part, which is the setup, really gets rushed as we do the first turning point, and then everybody gets slashed, and then it shifts gears into this secondary story, which is important, but I'm kind of like, I wish they spread the slasher part out more. So like you get this 30-minute intro, and then people get kind of sliced and diced before the 45-minute mark, and then we're left with the rest. And I'm not saying that there's not important stuff there. I just feel like it becomes a little jumbled.
Yeah, the slasher element is almost like an afterthought. The real story is Alexandra's backstory and her relationship with her boyfriend and her ex. And the slasher elements almost feel like they're just tossed in real quick. And they lack in their, creativity with the kills and all that. But I was still on board and invested in these characters and was interested in how it was going to play out. The way it played out was my biggest flaw of the film. Not because it was bad, just because I found it just way too hard to believe. I can't wrap my head around it. If one of you can say something, and I mean, we're obviously not going to spoil since it's a newer film, but if one of you said something and I was like, oh, I can buy that, then I would be on board and my rating would go up, but I just cannot wrap my head around it.
You know what's funny? I was hoping that one of you guys was going to sell me on something for the same exact. I did the only movie of the evening that I do not have a rating written, and I always have a number rating written down. Always, not always, 90% of the time. Sometimes I leave it open for our discussion before I decide. This was a movie where I did not have it, and I was hoping that one of you was going to tell me something. So it's funny.
I'm going to be very cryptic. I'll be very cryptic because I don't want to spoil.
Unfortunately.
So we're trying to be spoiler free with this because it is new. I will say this. The owner of Slasher Campout, which is the event that they're going to for the weekend, they know.
Yeah.
Right.
So that opens the door for a little bit of the shenanigans that play out.
So plausibility is A-okay with you, is what you're saying?
Well, there's forcible within the realm of a movie that you're going to have to let something go. But what I questioned the first time, I was a little bit more okay with the second time through, because I said, okay, well, that I can accept that then.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it did come back in the second view.
This is just a quick question, and it's not exactly on that topic. How is one person claiming themselves a winner of something when someone else was the final girl? Wouldn't the winner be the final girl? Oh. Why would somebody else claim, and I won? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, because his character has to win. He won an escape room. That's what he was gloating about, because he had to gloat about something. That was his character. And
I understand that was his character, but he said this, and this happened, and he goes, and I won. So I'm thinking, how did you win?
The escape room. He won the escape room.
Oh, I don't
he wasn't talking about the slasher campout.
He was just one of those guys. His whole demeanor through the whole thing was pissed off because the final girl kept figuring out clues when they're playing the slasher campout game. And then as the things play out, what he's referring to is something different. But that's why he had to announce that he won, because that is his demeanor, and he won that element. That's what he did.
Okay, that's fair. So it's just another, taking that joke and just adding an exclamation point to it, I suppose. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they give you the jokester here. You get aka you also get the slut. I hate calling her the slut because she's not really slut.
I love her.
She's gorgeous too. And you get the quiet one, you get the main guy, the final girl, and a couple of crazies mixed in. Again, one of my nitpicks, first time through, I was enjoying it. Beautiful production value. Once again, great look to the movie, well directed, the editing was good, sound design great, and I always say this stuff because you never know what you're going to get when you take on some of these lower budget films, and this one has a production value to it. Great nighttime photography. Like, it's really quite above average in all those aspects. My first misstep was when that fat slasher camp out host came out and he started, barking orders and everything like that. It took me right out of the film. I found them a little hard to take. Funny enough, on the second watch, I was totally okay with them.
You know what it is? That's how like those extreme haunts are, though, where they'll scream and yell at you and get in your face. They'll even bump you and hit you.
And that's exactly it. And I think I was just it rubbed me the wrong way the first time, and I was like, no, that's exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
And it was. I found it was like I was just being nitpicky, and I dug the little nods to the other horror films, like some more popular, like I'll be right back, and plug it up, Carrie, and then they had even more obscure ones like
My Name's Not Carrie.
Yeah, and then more obscure, ones, where it's like I'm not sharing with Mute Witness over here or something like that, or Gooble Gobble, one of us. I was like, what a wacky reference, but it worked.
Dave wouldn't even know that reference though.
I know it thanks to South Park.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you'll never know it because of the film. Though.
I found out all the podcasts I've listened to. Yeah, I've heard it over the years. I know.
And you still won't watch it?
No.
It's from Freaks, everybody. Just so you know what movie we're talking about. Old school. We get a Porky's line in there. Like she goes, "What about my sweaty balls policy?" Funny line, but you know what? It didn't fit her character. I don't know why. It
did though when we find out more about her. Like the way the way she's portrayed in the first half, and then when we get the reveal about her past, think about, especially when she talks about the kind of things she was messing with, it's a whole other kind of lifestyle. You know what I mean?
I was on board with that because I felt like they're giving you those flashbacks from the very beginning, so you kind of are getting an idea that they're setting her up as somebody with a troubled past. So I had no problem buying any of the dialogue.
Troubled past, not troubled past. Do you think she had a sweaty ball policy?
I know I do.
I know most.
You gotta hear those bad boys up for at least 10 minutes.
You know what? For me, like, I get all like the little nitpicky stuff here and there, but for me, it all came down to one particular character, and that particular character's actions were so out of, is it left field or right field, whatever field you want it to be out of. It was so far out of that field. I was just like, this is ridiculous. I really was saying, this is ridiculous. This wouldn't play out like this.
Now, does that character look like you?
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
The whole time I watched the movie, I'm like, this could be Brandon's brother.
Wow.
But you know what?
You mention it. I gotta tell you. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying it's a little muddled, but there's enough good stuff here that I was entertained. Admittedly, I was more disappointed because I wanted to love it. And I think I wanted to love it because Preston seems like such a great guy that I wanted to love it. And I do expect, I did say, I reached out to him. I would love to interview him about this because I think it's fascinating that, there's someone that we're talking to that got a film made. It's on Shudder as we speak. And I just want to talk to him about the whole experience. And I said that I was going to do that as like an offshoot. You guys are doing your Freddy versus Jason thing. I wanted to do that as one of my things to contribute as well. And I still want to do that with him. And that's why I wanted to love this movie. I still enjoyed it.
I would like to hear that.
Good. I just want to talk to him a little bit more about it. I had a problem with that the first time I watched it. Brandon, at the very end, again, the review for me maybe accepted a little bit more. Yes, there's forced nature here, but it worked well enough.
It just seems like, for me, they're establishing a fairly lengthy, not super lengthy, but a lengthy enough relationship between said characters that for it to escalate this quickly in such a short period of time just felt like it was extremely out of character.
And I can see that, but I mean, we can. I guess we're going to be so cryptic dancing around this.
Yeah, I still recommend seeing it for all the reasons you guys were saying. It, again, another low budget film, but has great production value. You can tell when they're trying to make a good film rather than just like bullshit on screen. You know what I'm talking
about. There's love behind it.
There's passion in this project. You can feel it, even if it's not my cup of tea. It's there. And I appreciate that. And this was his first feature film, and I definitely want to see more. So
I mean, from the directing standpoint, he did great. And that last shot of her, beautiful shot, and it sums up the title of the movie greatly. And I just thought that was great. But getting there, there might be a few loose ends and some muddled storytelling from the script standpoint. That needed to be there, but I think needed to be worked out a bit differently. The whole choose between two people thing.
Choose me.
But I think that's where it gets lost. I think if they focused
right.
on the slasher part more and lost that choose me, or did that a bit differently within the realm of the slasher night, we would have had a different story here.
We would have had a straight up slasher film, and we probably would have had the better film because the choose me route is the less believable route.
Yep. I have something good, something bad, and something
blue.
and something
barb.
Good, bad, and a matter of fact that I'm just going to throw in, and then I have nothing else to say. But the good is they didn't take the cheap route in the beginning where they basically said, how many, do you know how many horror movies start at a gas station or something like that? They could have said the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or this, or they weren't too heavy-handed on the nods. Sometimes you see films like this and they're just too heavy-handed and they're trying a little too hard when they don't have to, where people in the know are just going to get the reference, and that's all you need to do. So a little subtle thing like that I like. Here's a complaint that you very, very rarely hear me complain about. This is not something I critique much. Most of the time, truth be told, I don't notice because I listen to other podcasts and they say it. I'm like, I didn't notice that. But I did not like Nathan as an actor. I thought he was not a good actor. The guy that played the boyfriend, Nathan. That's all I have to say.
I had no problem with him.
And I never have complaints about acting, ever. Have you ever heard me say this guy wasn't a good actor? Maybe twice in fucking 67 shows. I don't say it. He was delivering some lines that I just thought were poor.
Yeah, I'm more with Christian, but I'm not even sure if that has to do with acting ability or with maybe the way the character's set up.
I don't know, man. Just the delivery of line.
But I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I definitely didn't feel that way. But I understand.
And let me see. Maybe about 1, 2, 3. Maybe about my 5th or 6th note, I made a statement in my notes that said one of the couple set the other up. That was my prediction halfway through the film. Did it play out that way? I don't know. It's just a matter-of-fact statement. Yeah. But that's where I felt this movie was going to go pretty early in. And eventually we see what transpired, and it was, a twist after a twist and some other things. But that was what I took early on in the film, just because we've been down similar to this a few times before. And that's it. That's not spoiler, because I'm not saying that happened or out that way, but I'm just saying that's the vibe I was getting early in the film. Yeah. That our main couple, something was up here. You know what I mean? And then things
I gotta be honest, I was pretty engaged with her in particular, that I really wasn't even trying to figure it out. More disappointed in how it resolved itself, but I didn't have that matter-of-fact moment where I was just like, here's what I think's going on. I was kind of into it.
And I guess the only other kind of, I don't want to say misfire, but the other thing that I would kind of question was when Pitch, character's name, Pitch pulled a gun on the group. Seemed a little too much. Just a little too much for the game they were playing. The other thing, I guess there is another thing just by watching it a couple times now, is they are all signing up to go on slasher campout for 36 hours of terror. Yet when the terror starts, they're all shocked. And it seems like, I know Pitch is like going, oh, this is great, I got to check out the effects. But it seems like the main characters are all like, holy shit, what's going on? And they're like, well, you signed up for this. They're supposed to be scaring you. So I thought maybe I might be reading into that too much, but that's the vibe I got. And I'm like, well, maybe they could have just played off that a bit better on the sense of like knowing that they had signed up with this instead of being totally freaked out right out of the gate. However, I hover. I think the first view I was at mild rumble, a high mild rumble, and I think I'm borderlining on the top of that half head. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll say it's a half head. It just eases into that half head explosion.
I'm higher up, but a mild rumble. Okay. So I'm sticking with the mild rumble. Yeah,
I'm right there with Dave. Definitely a higher end mild rumble, but still there. Definitely a recommend though.
Yeah, worth your time. Check it out. It's on Shudder. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And another, these films, I notice I mean, it's kind of like this every year, but I've noticed this year in particular, very fast-paced films in terms of running time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that many films this year that are long.
Yes and no, though. I have my short list here, and I have like 5 that I didn't watch because of the running time.
Wow, really? Because I mean, everything I've been watching so far has been pretty fast-paced. I think A Quiet Place was the longest movie I think I've watched this year. Oh no, I watched Mother, but that was from last year.
Yeah, there are some others that I have not gotten around to. Well, I think I'm looking at 3 right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, that just because of the running, not crazy run. I just have been choosing the hour 35. You know what I mean?
I love that 80 to 90 minute runtime. That's such a perfect runtime.
I know. There's not a lot
right
of
there
movies.
with you, man.
You know, there's not a lot of movies that are like an hour and 40. Everything is like 90 minutes or 2 hours, it seems.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of those hour 37-minute movies and shit like that.
Well, can I just ask you real quick, not to get too far off topic, but the new Suspiria, they're saying clocks in at 2 hours and 30.
I know. It better be good, man.
I know that. I mean, I watched the trailer and I'm excited for it. So, but that's long.
Yeah, it's a fucking long movie.
That's fucking long.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Nice. Okay, want to go another trip? Another trips?
Down memory lane.
You want to go first since I stole yours last time, B? Maybe you stole mine this time? Let's see.
I'll go, and I'm doing a film that you covered 2 episodes ago, and it's called Stillborn.
Aha, okay.
Yes, Mary, a new mother, gives birth to twins, but only one of them is alive. While taking care of her living child, Adam, she suspects that a supernatural entity has chosen him. Yeah, so for Stillborn, you were definitely came in a lot higher than I'm gonna be coming in on this one. I thought it took a great concept. Well, I don't want to say great when I'm describing this, but the concept of losing a child while still having one and trying to keep it together and take care of that other child. You don't see that a lot. Usually it's, the mother slowly slipping into deep psychosis and dealing with her postpartum all at once, where here she has to keep it together and really fight against it because she has this other child. The problem is it doesn't blend the elements of the psychological, the postpartum, and the supernatural well at all. It does not leave any element of mystery to it. It goes supernatural pretty early and generic supernatural as far as I'm concerned, and it doesn't let up until the very end. And the ending is extremely predictable.
I didn't get the ending because I heard another podcast talk about it, and they said that it was something else, and I completely didn't catch on to that.
Oh,
so
no.
Just maybe me.
I'm not going to spoil it, obviously.
No, we're not going to spoil it, but...
But, the story, takes place where this mother, she's trying to save her child from a supernatural entity, and it's pretty early established that it is a supernatural entity, and you learn through the voice of this supernatural being what has to be done in order to save the child. So in the end, she ultimately does, even though not in the way that she thinks she is going to. It's very straightforward. The very last shot of the film I thought was really well shot. It provides the only moment of ambiguity because we get a straight up shot in the face of one of our main characters, and it leaves us with this sort of mystery as to whether a certain event actually changed anything. Man, it's tough reviewing these films when we're not spoiling.
It is, but triple R's are just supposed to be I know.
Spoiler. I'm creating words over here. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to like this one. I think you were at like a half head explosion, but for me,
Just making a half head.
Yeah, you know what? The acting was really good. I liked the characters. It was well shot. Another one of these films where I'm like, okay, they're really trying to make a good film here. I just felt like it went generic and didn't take advantage of all the psychological versus supernatural that it could have played with throughout. I think it just really tipped its hand too early and showed us that.
How about that scene when she's talking to her mother on the Skype and she flips the fuck out? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy. Listen, though, I will meet you on this to a degree, because like I said with my rating, it just made a half head, but it made it. this movie could have jumped up a couple points if they tweaked it a little bit and went in some other directions. So I feel you. There was a little bit of generic stuff going on, but what they did right. It was nothing that we've never seen before, but they still handled it right, and it still seemed like it was original in its own way.
I don't know. See, I didn't feel that way. I see it when
have you seen that before, though? With the dynamic of the dead baby and the live baby and what's going on.
That was the best part of it. But I didn't like the fact that they automatically had this supernatural ghost and it's changing the cameras and it's making her look crazy. It's like that's so generic. Been there, done that. We've seen that all before, and it's playing out exactly. Of course, the husband's not believing her. Friends aren't believing her. Her mother's not believing her. Everyone thinks she's crazy. Is she crazy? When clearly we know she's not crazy because they show their cards so early that it's a supernatural force. That's where it's the biggest misfire. It's because they had that element of psychological postpartum. They could have really, really had something special here, but it just went generic supernatural. And generic supernatural, generic anything isn't good, but generic supernatural is like probably one of the worst. Because it just becomes a run-of-the-mill ghostly film. It's a mild rumble. Like just if I was to give this a number, I'd probably give this like a 5.5. Just that last shot I like. There's a little bit of ambiguity to it, but other than that, it's a very average film for me. That's it.
Fair. There you go. All right. Here is a movie I've been waiting a long time to see because it was released maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but it was only released VOD on a very few certain cable systems, which I did not have any access to. Not DirecTV, something I forgot what they were, but it was very limited. And suddenly over the course of the last 2 weeks, it's come up. And maybe by the time you're hearing this, it might be on a Netflix or a Shudder, who knows, because that's usually how it goes. But this movie is called Ghost Stories. And I've been wanting to see this since I first heard about it because it's an anthology, and I heard it harkens back to old school horror type things, old British horror. And in some ways it was with a modern spin. I paid attention to the very first line of this film. I've noticed lately that in horror films, they say a line early on, and I used to just kind of like blow it off as like regular narration, and it's not all that important. But I've made it a habit recently of remembering the opening line because I think it's going to come back later. And the opening line of this film it was our father's religious beliefs that destroyed our family. And I wrote that down. It's the opening line of the film because it's a guy that's making a film. This is not found footage, but he is attempting to make a documentary. That's how it begins. It doesn't last long because he is trying to prove he's a skeptic. He is trying to prove every ghost story wrong and every supernatural thing wrong. That's his gig, He doesn't want to believe in religion. He comes from a Jewish family, and he does not want to believe in supernatural. He does not want to believe in religion, any of that stuff. He just wants to, take the scientific approach. So like I said, he's a cynic, and he's trying to continue. You see him busting people earlier on in the film. There's something going on, and you're seeing what this guy's doing. He exposes something that's happening. Now, this guy, when he was young, he used to watch this other show of another guy who did basically the same thing he did. He was a Mythbuster type thing, if you will. And he really liked this guy's show, and this guy went missing. Well, suddenly, one day, out of nowhere, the strangest thing happens. The guy that went missing years ago sends our lead a cassette, and he reaches out to him and says, "Hey, I'm at this place. Come find me. I have 3 cases that are unexplained, and I want you to help me out with this because I know you're like I am." So this guy's honored by it because his idol was reaching out to him, the guy that's presumed missing. And he goes and he meets this guy, and he's in this dilapidated trailer. It was a strange place that he'd be finding him and what's going on. But he goes there. First and foremost, this movie is technically sound all around. So already it's getting some points for me. The way it's filmed, the way it looks, the way it sounds, all that stuff, very good. It's a very well-made film. And we go into 3 stories. And I'm not going to give you information about the stories. I'm not going to go into it. This is just a triple R. So I'm not going to say case 1 was this, case 2 was this, case 3 is this. But as I'm watching it, they're good stories. The first and the second are good stories. But I'm thinking something else has to happen here because this movie, there was buzz around this movie. And I'm trying to figure out, where is this going to go? Is this going to end up being about the wraparound? Is something going to happen? Because what I'm watching here, it's an okay anthology, but it's not blowing my doors off. You know what I mean? So I'm okay. The third story ends up being the best, and I do enjoy it. And then, as I was hoping was going to happen, things do take a turn after that. And it's spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything, but things take a turn. It gets really interesting. It gets weird. There's a few reveals thrown in the last 30 minutes of this film, and it's the kind of movie that needs a second watch because you have to go back and see. But I really dig it. This is another movie that, Brandon, I can see you watching and being blown away by. But then again, maybe you'll watch it and you won't buy what's happening. But it's kind of like Southbound, how the first time I watched Southbound, there was a lot of little nuances and connectivity that I didn't quite get. And then when I went back the second time, I was even more wowed by it. You know, so I'm hoping that's going to happen here because I could see that happening because of the direction it goes in and the way all this connects. It's going to be like, oh, wow.
So you think all the stories were definitely crucial to the film, and you don't feel like, because you said the first two were good, but you seemed like you were just higher on the third. So you would say they're all critical to where it plays out.
Yes, because the characters and the people involved and the setup, I believe all this is happening for a reason.
Okay.
And it won me over in the direction it went towards the end. So because of that, I'm going to optimistically say I have to watch it a second time, but I'm still high enough on it. So it's another half-head explosion, and I have to recommend it. Some people may love it. I might be completely wrong. People might watch this movie. You might watch this movie and say, oh, no, I don't buy that at all. That's stupid. That was just shoehorned in at the end.
I'm intrigued by it. I've heard good things about it.
I think people should be intrigued by it, and I think people should check it out. And I think at the very least they'll like it. You know, but I do have to say that during the first two stories, I enjoyed them, but they weren't anything to write home about. They were fine, you know what I mean? But I wasn't like, there was buzz going on, so I was expecting them to be, oh, this is going to be this amazing anthology. But it was kind of like in Southbound, that second one that everyone was raving about, the heart thing and this and that, and the way things connect. Oh. Initially, I was kind of it was unremarkable to me. Everyone seemed to love that one. And it was kind of unremarkable to me because it was kind of one note. I get what the guy was trying to do, and I understand, and it was cool. But what blows me away about that now is the connectivity to the film as a whole and that story being included in it.
That's such a good film.
I'm not going to go on and on. It is a good film. But Half-Head Explosion, check out Ghost Stories. There you go.
And Southbound.
And Southbound. We can't say that enough. I agreed.
All right, guys. I'm going to take you back a little bit now. This is not from this year. But I finally watched Dave's #1 movie of last year, Brimstone.
Oh, I'm so curious. Wow. Okay.
So, again, on our beautiful movie channels here, it's been on the beautiful movie channels, I think, since January, February of this year. But I just, you start getting into watching 2018, and I just never got around to it because you need 2.5 hours of your time for this movie. It's a long-ass movie.
Isn't that funny? Your #1 movie for last year was a 2.5-hour film.
After talking about one times earlier. Anyway, here it is. It's a great movie. I think, Brandon, you need to see this, and I think it definitely needs to be a contender for Is This Horror? Or Is This Horror Show? I'm not going to say it's not 100%, but I'll tell you, I questioned that. I'm like, what the hell was Dave talking about? Then I'm like, oh, no, he's bang on. And then I was like, oh, what the hell was he talking about? There are horror elements. There is that supernatural overtone without getting into it. Brandon, you'll see it right away. The movie deserves to be seen. It's epic. I mean, for those of you that don't know the movie that I'm talking about, maybe I guess you should give a quick, just a very quick synopsis. A triumphant epic of survival and a tale of powerful womanhood and resistance against the unforgiving cruelty of a hell on earth. It goes on, but I like that. That keeps it kind of ominous. And this is more Western, but it's got this sort of overtone to it. It's told kind of Tarantino-esque, and so you're getting more of the story, of course, in different time periods being presented to you, out of sequence, of course.
Love that.
It is great. I didn't come in quite as high as Dave, but it's an 8 out of 10. And it definitely deserves to be seen, and I definitely need Brandon to see it, because I think it definitely deserves to be discussed on the Is It Horror episode.
Well, I'll definitely make sure I see it before then. I've been putting it off mainly because of the runtime.
Oh, it's worth it, man.
No, I
It's
know,
so
I
good.
know it is, but I'm in that sweet spot of everything is 80 minutes. Sometimes you get some that run below 80, and it's like, oh my god, I'm watching another one, because that was like watching half a movie.
And I didn't want to, I'm Dave, I'm not sure it's a pick a fight. I'm not saying it's not,
No.
but I'm just saying it. Like I was shifting back and forth, but one thing's for sure: whether horror or not, it's a fantastic film.
That's good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that you love the film.
You gave that a 10, right?
I did. Oh, it's fucking
Yeah.
yes, yeah. It's-
And you gave it an 8. So if I'm with you, Dave, gets in the hall.
Oh, right on. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. I'll say this: people did not vote on it for Brimstone for Is It Horror. They actually voted for Bone Tomahawk. So I know that will be discussed. I guess Brimstone could be our own pick. It's our show. We can pick a movie and
Yeah.
discuss it.
Do whatever we want.
I'll sum it up right now. He can find them wherever they're at. That alone speaks supernatural to me, and I'll leave it at that for now.
And I didn't disagree. I'm not disagreeing. It just, yeah.
Horror. Episode over.
Roll credits. Right.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Nice. Okay, cool. Now we have another one we have to get into. We have 2 more that we are all on board for. That's what we'll do. We got to do the Derek B. We got to get on. We got to talk about our Patreon. This is our Patreon pick, and this one comes from Derek B. And his triple R is, what's it called?
It's called Cold Sweat, also known as Sudor Frio. Man, I probably butchered that.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
would
okay.
know.
This
Sounded-
can be
sounded good
seen
to me.
on
It's on Prime.
Prime. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it.
Yeah, this one's from 2010, Cold Sweat, and it's Roman and his friend Ali seek out his girlfriend Jackie in a dangerous zone in a suburb in Buenos Aires. There's a much longer description here, but I'm going to leave it at that because the description is almost as long as the movie, because this is like a heavy metal video, pretty much. Like almost like an extended music video feels like.
A lot of loud music. Yeah.
I love it, though. I love it. The director and writer, Adrian Garcia Bagliano, he does great stuff. I mean, he really, if you look at his library of films, he's got some really quality stuff. He did Scherzo Diabolico. He did Here Comes the Devil.
Oh, wow. I like both of those movies more.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
had no problem with this movie. Derek is as again, I thought knocked one out of the park for us. I hadn't heard of this film. It was not even on my radar. It was from 8 years ago, so I don't think it would have been on my radar. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's what I love about this is you take a scenario, you take 2 people that think they're going into something else, or one person that thinks they're going into something else, and the tables get turned, and it turns into this whacked out, fucked up night of hell. And I thought the movie did it really well. I read one person said this was a slow burn. I'm like, what movie were you
Slow
watching?
burn.
What
It's like
were
70
you watching?
minutes long. It can't be
Go
a
on
slow
IMDb and watch and look at some of the reviews there. I was shocked. I said,
Wow.
literally, it's setup and delivery the whole way through. Now, whether you believe in everything that's going on remains to be seen. But I was on edge. I felt that way when I saw
Yeah.
High Tension for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God. Oh yeah. There's like a tense feeling throughout this whole film. Once they get in the house and you realize what the fuck is going on there, it's just constant tension, in my opinion.
And they give you the setup right at the beginning with these 2 crazy old men. They show a lot of the history of Argentina and the military dictatorship. And basically, these are 2 crazy old men who have stolen dynamite, who have an agenda to punish, the women of the daughters and grandchildren of the women who wanted equality from back in the day. That's as simple as it is. And these 2 characters, they wind up in this house looking for his girlfriend, and shit gets crazy. And it is super tense, super violent, super suspenseful. and super fast paced. Not a slow burn at all.
Think of people without people under the stairs, but without the rap ending.
The first act and the last act. The first act was good. The last act was great. My issue was that I checked out in the middle. That after the guy found his girlfriend and she was covered and that whole thing, it went on for like 20 minutes and it was just too long and I checked out. I lost interest in that. What brought me back was how crazy things got in the third act, but that's what happened to me.
See, the suspense was still there, especially that whole act was like him
I didn't care
getting
about
her down onto the floor, onto the tarp. Even though that was like a 10-minute sequence, man, that was tense.
I didn't care about her. I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe that's it, because you care about Allie more.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Well, you know about the motive. You immediately know that Jackie was there because she was meeting some guy. Like, that's what we originally think.
Yeah, I know that. And that was another thing, too. Was the way he was talking about the girl, was his ex-girlfriend, something else. I don't know what it was, but I just, occasionally this happens when I watch a film. I check out. And when I check out, sometimes it's hard for me to come back. And I might have unfairly checked out. You know, that might be on me. The way you guys are talking about it, maybe I have to go back and watch it again. I have to be in a different state of mind or something, or I don't know what it was. I think something about that second act and the length of that scene, it just seems to me like they spent too much time on that girl. And if it would have been the lead girl, Allie, I would have had more invested. I just didn't care about this random girl. It just, I don't know why. It just went on. And maybe if it would have been shorter, it just seemed to me that there was too much dialogue and it went on too long. And I didn't understand.
It went on a little long, Dave. I agree. And it's a little far-fetched because she's drenched in that stuff just to get her out. However, maybe because it was a first-time watch, I was like, oh, God, I wish they get to the next thing. I was like, wow, this is fucking tense. Get her down. Get her the fuck out of there. Come on, what the fuck is with this basement full of fucked up people? And, like, experiments gone wild. Like,
I've seen this before. This is like, I think this was a third time watch, and I still had that same feeling of suspense because it just has that effect on me. But I definitely can see, I mean, look, they're initially there looking for his cheating girlfriend. So of course, and you can see the connection that Roman has with Allie. So you see that these are really our two main characters that we want to cheer for. So of course, when they find the girlfriend who gives a shit about her for real, but she doesn't deserve what they're planning on doing to her.
Of course not. Just me personally, something happened and I didn't get into the character. And when I lost interest, it just took me some time to come back. And I did come back in the third act. But...
Yeah, what I was going to say, what probably would have worked better is if they had found the girlfriend even quicker and it somehow gotten switched around where Allie was the one on the table having to be saved. If she was the one in distress, she wasn't in distress long enough because she was a much stronger character.
This is my issue. I was thinking of Saw, and then I wanted to go watch Saw. So I think I started thinking about Jigsaw because I was thinking of that scene in Saw. Okay. I was thinking of that scene with the guy who with a lighter and having that nitroglycerin and having that stuff on him. That's what I kept thinking of when I saw that girl with that stuff on her body. And they were talking about that. I kept thinking about that scene and the guy with the lighter who ends up ultimately blowing himself up and setting himself ablaze. I was thinking of that, and I was thinking about, first I started thinking about Jigsaw when the guy gave him the game and said, okay, the math quiz and this and that, whatever the fuck was going on. Okay, let's play a game. So then I had Jigsaw in my head a little bit. Like, okay, this is a little Saw-ish. Then they got to that, and then I started thinking about Saw again, and then part of me was like, man, I want to watch Saw. And I started thinking so maybe that's another reason I drifted off. Because
not a bad thing.
In Saw, that wouldn't, no, not at all. But in Saw, it would have been much quicker. It wouldn't have been a freaking 20-minute thing in the middle with one person. It would have been, make your choice. You have 60 seconds. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why I love the fucking Saw series so much, because everything happens in a quick thing. There are no long sequences that's, okay, do this, and you have this much time, or you're going to die. I don't know.
Now you got me wanting to watch Saw.
See how that happens? I know, right? But anyway, I guess I'm going to have to watch it again a second time, because Derek hasn't done us wrong yet, so there's no reason to think. And the way you guys are talking about it, you feel differently than I do, so...
Well, I just love the simplicity. Set up. into the House of Horrors. We got to get out, but it's not that easy, and that's the movie.
Yeah, you're on board with the characters, even though you're thrown right into it. Like there's no huge setup. You're thrown right into it, yet you're on board. You feel for them. There's clear villains that are established. They're evil. You're rooting against them. So it's a very simple, basic setup, but it works so well.
Unusual villains, that's for sure.
I liked it. I liked that they were two old men.
It was unusual, yeah.
They were nuts, crazy.
There was some. See, the thing also, I remember. You had issue with that movie, Stomp the Yard, Attack the Block. That's why I got confused. You had issues with Attack the Block because of the loud music going the whole time throughout the film. Yet in this movie, that's kind of what I was getting with the music. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of video game music. You ever play like a video game, like a you know what I mean? You hear that modern games with like crazy background music and all this stuff. I felt like I was watching a video game movie with freaking video game background music.
It's funny, I didn't notice it until the heavy metal really kicked in, and then when the explosion went, and I thought that was like just awesome.
It was an awesome explosion, and the slow-mo and all that shit.
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that, but obviously it didn't bother me at all in this, and it added to my tension.
Yeah.
So it worked.
They used the music well, I thought, as good audio cues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how much more there is to say, but I like, again, first time watch, maybe like I'm an 8 out of 10. Like I thought it was a great movie.
I'm right there with the 8 out of 10.
Whew. I'm 6 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah. It just might have been me that particular night. So I think I'm going to have to take some time to go watch it again on my own and just,
I've always enjoyed this film. I've always wanted to own this film. It needs a Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a Blu-ray, and the DVD is super expensive.
I'll tell you what needs a Blu-ray release. Southbound.
Southbound needs one, and Alone in the Dark.
Southbound and Alone in the Dark. That's fair. But yeah, thanks again, Derek. And I'm gonna revisit this movie, and the next time I do, it'll come up as a triple R again on my own, and I'll see if I had a different, a different experience with it. So.
Hells yes.
Yes, but as long as we're talking about Patreon, now is the time. If you guys want to join Patreon, there's many reasons to. We have some cool things on there. We have all access for $1. You can see episodes early, hear episodes early. Pardon me. Sometimes see them. We put exclusive videos on there. A couple other things. We have drawings. We're going to have a drawing here momentarily. We're actually going to start a new game too. But anyway, www.patreon.com/explodingheads. So get on there, and you can also pick a triple R if you're at that level anytime you want. I mean, at least not anytime you want, but once a month max. But still, there you have it. Now if you're on the $1 or $3, you can get put in a drawing once a month and watch one of those films. But speaking of Patreon, more things on there. We have some messages that were sent to us on Patreon, and I am going to read them. The first message comes from Dustin Baker. Send us a message. Yes. Hi, guys. Just wanted to say the show's still a ton of fun, and it's always a highlight to my week when a new one drops. I also had a potential pick for triple R's for once. I usually don't throw one in unless something comes to mind that feels unique to discuss. Anyways, during the Reanimator show, you guys mentioned the first film having a bit of a downer ending, and that suddenly sparked in my head 1965's Curse of the Fly. I haven't seen it in quite a number of years now, so my memories may be off, but I remember being quite impressed by it and how somber of a finale it had, especially for a B flick from that era. It seems like it could be a distant relative to Reanimator, though certainly different in tone and explicitness, and I realized I never hear anyone talk about it. Horror, etc. may have covered it like 9 years ago, and that's it. It's like it has disappeared or something. So anyways, if you guys feel like it, it'd be nice to hear someone talk about Curse of the Fly. If for nothing else, to see if I'm crazy for liking it that much. Though if you guys plan on doing a franchise show for The Fly or something, then just ignore this and I'll wait for that eventual show. Sorry for the long message. Thanks, and thank you for such a fun show. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I've
never seen Curse.
Yeah, neither here. Sorry,
Me
Brandon.
neither.
No, I've never seen it.
None of us have. I don't think we plan to do a Fly retrospective because with the how I think there's a bunch of Fly movies like old school. There's
Well, yeah, I've seen
yeah,
Return
there's
of the
a lot
Fly, and
Return, Curse, the two new ones. Right? As much as I love Cronenberg's The Fly, I don't think. Actually, I think we're pretty much booked up for the year with franchises now. So yeah, so we will do Curse of the Fly. Next show we'll do a triple R for Curse of the Fly because he asked, because he's on that level and he reserves the right to ask. So anybody listening wants to do, you could do the same. So there you go. Curse of the Fly. We would discuss it. Everybody's really excited about it.
And you shall receive.
There you have it. There you have it. And then we have another message from Amanda W. And looking forward to the next show. Would love to hear your thoughts on the recent announcement from Scream Factory and what titles you might pick up. So, Scream Factory.
Return of the Living Dead 2. And I'm not kidding. I'll grab that. I don't care.
I'll grab it eventually. That wasn't one of the, I think, the 14 new ones that were announced.
I know, but it hasn't come out yet. It comes out like in 2 weeks or something like that. Or next week.
Oh, really? I thought maybe only the early people got it. They got the first 1,000 copies. Because I know some people, I think Alex got it. So
there was a lot I was excited for. I'm actually excited for a collector's edition of Urban Legend. I know Schroyer will be happy to hear that.
See, I don't care about Urban Legend.
I like Urban Legend.
We watched it. Did it make your top 50?
It did make my top 50.
Did it? Oh, well, then I would buy it too. Any movie that's in my top 50, I would buy a Blu-ray for. So there you go.
I was happy for that. I'm obviously ecstatic for Candyman, and I'm happy to see a nice edition of Sleepwalkers. I like that film.
I am too. Yeah.
I always enjoyed that film. There were a lot of good ones announced. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. We get our expectations up because we start thinking. I know I thought Alone in the Dark was going to get announced. I thought Fright Night was maybe going to get announced, and then you don't get the ones you expected. But they had a lot of good announcements. I mean, they're putting out collector's editions of Trick or Treat. They got that Critters box set coming. They got what else do they have? Creepshow coming.
See, then I already have Creepshow. Of course, I have fucking Creepshow. I got on that. Man, it's expensive when you add shipping and the thing.
Yeah.
I paid top dollar for Creepshow and for Trick or Treat, so therefore I am not getting any of the ones on the latest announcement because those two came like a few weeks before the big announcement that she's talking about. But I already paid for Creepshow and Trick or Treat because I think it's only like 1,000 or 1,500 or whatever it is to get the whole thing.
To get the lithograph and stuff, yeah.
And I love the movies enough that I want to make sure.
You'll frame those.
Those I have to get. I have to get them, especially Creepshow. You know what I mean? I absolutely want to see Candyman. I'm excited about that, but I have a feeling it's not going to sell out right away, and I'll just be able to score it later on. And if not, I'll get the Arrow one if I have to. But I mean,
none of these are limited except with the amount of lithographs and posters. Usually, that's usually what's limited with these. It's not like they're gonna stop producing copies of Candyman. If they sell out, Candyman in the first day, they're gonna make more.
Yeah. In Critters, I saw the first one for the first time last year, and I enjoyed it. But I can't see myself wanting to see 4 and buying a box set. That's just me.
You know what? I'm right there with you. I like the first 2 films. I'm not a diehard Critters person. I don't know. Maybe one day when it drops to like $30 for the box set, I'm not spending $60 on it. But
maybe because 3 and 4 really are not that great.
I don't even know if I've ever seen 4. 3 has Leo in it.
I mean, yeah, and this is it. Like these movies were like fucking direct-to-video garbage, and suddenly now everybody's blowing them left, right, and center. It's Dave's theory all over again.
It's true.
Well, for the collector, I'll side with the collector side here. I'm in the middle with you guys. I get excited when I see stuff that's like never been on Blu-ray before, so that's cool.
What, a Leprechaun box set? You're gonna be fucking coming in your pants?
Yeah, I don't get that.
No, I'm not. I don't even have the Leprechaun box set.
Yeah, but do they have it on Blu already?
Yeah, they have a box set on Blu-ray. You can probably pick it up for $15-20 now.
Fuck. Dude, I tried to watch the first one again the other night. I haven't even attempted to watch it since I saw it in the theater with my girlfriend.
I don't think I ever saw any of the sequels to that.
And I could not get through the movie.
Yeah,
I could not get through the first movie.
Wow.
Anyway.
That doesn't get me excited to watch it. Like, dude, fucking, like, Here's a good example. People getting excited for something just because it comes on blue. This is going back, but Hack-O-Lantern. Hack-O-Lantern got released last year, and everybody's excited. And I'm thinking, who the fuck? That fucking movie is so bad it's good. But that's all I can give it. I mean, it's to have friends over and have some beers and fucking crack wise and that I could see. But I can never imagine watching that movie as a serious film and paying $30 for a fucking Blu-ray of it. That movie, $30.
That was another argument that was coming up between people who we were arguing over this, over whether we like the releases, and some people were arguing, well, I don't like them enough, I'm not going to get these movies at this price. To be honest, nobody should be paying these prices for these movies anyway.
No, but people get excited. Oh, it's the first time I'm blue.
Exactly.
I'm top dollar.
Exactly.
They're marked.
And then,
they get marked out by it, man.
Yeah, and they buy every release for $30, and then 1 year later they're going for like $12.99 a piece, and you could pick them all up then. And to me, that's not so bad. I like owning some bad films. You know, I like that idea. Just throwing on some cheesy films once in a while. I can't wax intellectual all the time.
And at the end of the day, I say those things like, who the fuck wants it? And there are people that do want it. There are people that like it. And who do I can't tell people how they spend their money. None of my business. No. Spend away. Enjoy it. I think it's fucking ridiculous, but enjoy.
Yeah, and check out Christian's collection video. Epic video.
I'll tell you what, The Craft is finally getting
The Craft, yeah. You know what? It's not. I'm on Scream Factory's page, and I don't see the release date for The Craft.
I did not pull the trigger, like I said, because a few weeks prior, I did Creepshow immediately, and then I started thinking about Trick or Treat. It was already on sale for like 10 days or so, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I spent them combined, it's like fucking close to $60 for those two. And that's not my style. I don't spend that high a price on
a year from now, you'll get The Craft for $13-14.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think The Craft is going to sell out. I don't think that the audience is quite. I think it should be. I mean, it was like my number 3 of fucking 1996. I think it's a great film. I think it's almost perfect. There's very, very little wrong with it. Fairuza Balk is a fucking excellent villain in that film. And I don't know. I love the film. Some people don't want to get into it because they think it's like a chick flick, but what the fuck?
I never understood that.
Then why? What about Tragedy Girls and Carrie and fucking Heathers and that people love those fucking
Hey, I can't say anything. I have Final Girls in my top 10 of all-time slashers, so I can never say anything about chick flicks.
Just because the leads are women, it's a very fucking great movie, dude. I don't watch. There's so many movies that I've never seen. Hocus Pocus or fucking tons of movies like that. You know what I mean? To me, that's more chicky flicky than The Craft. The Craft.
Chicky flicky.
Yeah, dude. Beanie flicky.
It's a very fucking great movie.
Bean flicky. Man, I think Scream Factory's killing.
Making fun of me?
I really love their releases that they're putting out. I really do, and I think eventually everything will have a Blu-ray release at some point.
Let it come out. I want my blues. Bring them on. And who gives a fuck? And here's the deal. I can't believe, and I'm completely fucking biting on what JP said on 22 Shots, but I feel the same way. Why do people get mad at fucking announcements? Could you imagine? People are so fucking spoiled now. Could you imagine? You're the same age as me. Could you imagine walking into the fucking video store in the 80s and seeing a movie on the fucking shelf and say, what the fuck? Why is this movie out?
No.
What the fuck? What are you fucking people doing? Be happy.
Oh, my God.
So you didn't get what you wanted. Big fucking deal. There's so much to choose from. You don't have enough money in your pockets, unless maybe your moods are Derek. But you don't have enough money in your pockets to fucking own all the movies that you want. Nobody does. So guess what? Who cares? You don't want it? Move on.
Yeah, and a lot of people, another thing that a lot of people complain about is when, like, Scream Factory announced Candyman a week after Arrow did. Let's not forget, not everyone is region-free. I'm not region-free. Christian, luckily enough, has got a new friend. He's region-free. But I'm not getting the Arrow edition because I'm not region-free. Yeah, it's not super expensive to get a region-free player, but I want to be able to watch it in any room in my house. I don't want to have to sit in one room.
Dude, it's a white whale. It's a movie we've discussed for a couple years about movies that you want released on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like if you could make a list of like 5 or 10 movies, Candyman would have been on
It
a
was
lot
like,
of people.
yeah, it was definitely in everyone's top 5. And the minute Arrow announced it, everybody was crazy excited. The minute Scream Factory announced it, what the fuck is this shit?
How could you be mad? I don't have a region.
I don't get
You know
it.
the
I don't
percentage of people that have a region-free Blu-ray player?
It's
Seriously?
not high. It's not high.
No, it's not high. No, it's not high at all. Just your average, even people that listen to this podcast, I'd like to know. Seriously, how many people have a region-free player? You think that people would be ecstatic, fucker. You think that people would be ecstatic that Candyman is finally getting, because they don't want, when the Arrow was like, okay, I said, okay, great. Is it going to be in all region or is it just the UK? It's just the UK.
Yeah.
Fuck. First thing I thought, well, maybe Scream will get it. Sure enough, they did, and I'm like, yes, fucking great. And people are mad about release. Well, could you imagine getting mad at releases? Just picture that scenario that I just said. Walking into the fucking video store and seeing a film on the shelf and looking at your friend and say, I can't fucking believe this is out.
That's why I always consider myself like the middleman of collecting, because I'm not a diehard collector where I have to order everything first day. If they announced a Fright Night with like an Evil Ed blow-up doll, I would pre-order that day one. But what I'm saying is, if you wait, everything comes down in price to where it's reasonable, where you don't have to spend all your damn money on all these films. But everybody likes to buy everything. It's getting a Blu-ray release, I'm getting it. Then it gets announced again from a better company, and they're like, well, I'm not fucking double dipping. Why didn't they announce something that I didn't have? Well, you didn't have to buy that one. You don't have to buy everything the minute it comes out.
And you don't.
That's all I'll say about
Whatever,
that.
to each his own. To each his own. I think
Yeah.
it's funny. It's funny that they're complaining, and it's funny that people blow freaking shit movies just because they're released. So you're going to be excited about Trick or Treat, or pardon me. You're going to be excited about fucking what's that movie? Hack-O-Lantern, but you're going to be mad that Candyman's coming out on Scream Factory. What am I missing here?
If Hack-O-Lantern had been announced from Arrow a week before it got announced from whatever company released it, they would have been mad.
And I guarantee there's people listening to the show right now that are saying, who's mad about Candyman being released by Scream Factory? They just don't run in the same circles we do. But there are people like that out there.
It happens.
It does happen. And unfortunately, we have to rub elbows with some of those attitudes. But hey, to each his own. We all got our things. It's just, it's funny, if anything.
Yeah.
So we're going to buy some. And I'm glad some of them are getting released. But anyway.
I'll tell you what, I traded in, I pulled out like another 60 DVDs to get rid of. I've been really downsizing my DVD pile because I'm upgrading everything. Not everything at once, but Trick or Treat, I don't need my DVD anymore. I'm getting that collector's edition.
Oh yeah, you had Trick or Treat on DVD.
You gotta hold on. I would hold on to them because just like video, you're gonna get rid of this shit, and then it's gonna be huge. Like I would love my Friday the 13th collection back.
Oh, you think DVD is going to be like the new VHS?
Oh, VHS, you have to go buy, or Laserdisc for that matter.
Yeah,
my Laserdisc, like all of a sudden now you go back, you look like niche films like Friday the 13th, well not niche, but films like Friday the 13th, now the videotapes can be anywhere from 15, which is reasonable, to like $100 for a movie. You're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But that's because it can be.
Yeah.
And so like, you get to the point where like, you know what? I'm done. I resent the fact that, or I regret the fact that I sold all my Fangorias because it really was just to get rid of them in one big lump sum. All my Laserdiscs, some of those videotapes. I did get rid of half my DVDs as well. At The Beat Goes On or whatever it may be. It just, at the end of the day, like now I've got the storage space, so I'm just like, why? Now I could have just kept all of it.
Yeah, but it's all, when you move, I respect.
That's what I went through it so many times. At that time, it was the most realistic thing to do.
Right. I've been there, and I did it too. Yep, I parted ways with things. My Friday the 13th DVDs will never go anywhere. Parts 1, 2, 3, and the final chapter, I bought them. They were bare bones. They were Paramount. The very first day I bought a DVD player, it was in like the early 2000s. I went to the store, I bought a DVD player, and I bought about 15 DVDs that very day. And I spent $25 on Friday the 13th, part 1, 2, $100 on those 4 movies.
Wow.
And I will never, I know, now you can get them all for $25.
I did the same thing with the Saw films. I remember spending $20 on each of them for like the first 5 or 6.
I'll never
DVD. And I'll keep the DVDs even when I eventually upgrade to Blu-ray, just because I love Saw.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, certain things you got to hold on to and do it, man. If you want to collect and you want to display, whatever you do, why the hell not?
It is fun collecting. I give you that. It is fun actually owning the physical media. I do. It
is fun. I agree. Right now, I'm about collecting my posters, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with posters now too. So.
That's my thing. I'd rather spend $30 on a poster and a frame than a Blu-ray in most cases. Right now.
If you're Christian, you just get them sent to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
I hate you.
Maybe some Patreon people will send me some. I don't know. We're happy to get their money. The support is all good. And speaking of that, once again, we have 2 new patrons. We have Debbie Overly, who.
Hey, Debbie.
She's
been.
Thank you.
She's been a listener for a while.
Yeah, and you know what? She said she got on. Half of the reason she got on is for Frankie Z, because she knew there was some exclusive Frankie Z stuff. So
that was really cool, that post that she made. I remember that.
Yeah,
that
made
awesome.
her. Yeah, awesome. That made her happy. That made me happy.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's cool.
So that was cool. And then yesterday we got a new member, Matthew Carr, who just jumped right in. He left a message on our page, in the group page, talking about how he listened to the Slasher Show and watched a bunch of slashers based on our recommendations, and said, "Hey, I love the show. I just want to support you guys and keep you around for a while. So I'm going to go on Patreon." He told me. I said, "Okay." I said, "We're recording tomorrow night, so if we do it before then, we'll announce it on the show." So here we are. So there you go. Now, what I was saying before about questions, it's another thing we're adding on now. If you're a patron, if you're in our Patreon, all you have to do is submit a question in there, and it'll be exclusively answered on the show. So any question you put in there, we're gonna do it, or we're gonna shame you. So it's a new thing. We're gonna call it shame or game. How's that? So if you like the question, it's game to be answered. If we don't like the question, you're gonna get shamed. So have some fun.
We need to get a recording of Arnold Diaz doing "Shame on You."
I don't know that.
You don't remember "Shame on You"?
Shame.
It's not a song. It was a news segment. Do you remember? Well, Christian wouldn't remember that. He's not in the States. I thought that was national.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it was local.
Why do we need that? The only drop we need is freaking "You shamed me."
No, but there was a whole song like "Shame, shame, shame, shame on you."
Oh, okay. How about that song? It's a shame the way you mess around with my heart. Remember that song?
What was that, House Party? That was in House Party, wasn't it?
It's an old school song, and it was remade. It's a shame. And there's a Smashing Pumpkins song, and it goes, shoo, 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 shame. Anyway.
Christian is completely checked out of this.
Yeah, he just fucking hates us right now. Okay.
Hate's a strong word.
Okay.
Despise.
Loathe.
Okay, let's move on. Let's take a break. That's the end of our Patreon roundup. Again, patreon.com/explodingheads. Get on there and have some fun with us. Quick break and some more trips on the flips, and we'll see you in a minute. And we're back. Okay. So, forgot to do the Patreon drawing, so we're going to do that right now. This is anybody that's on the $1 or $3 level. All the ones have 1 entry, and all the 3s have 3 entries. So, we have between 1 and 30 right now. I'm going to put the number in. I'm going to generate it, and let's see. Oh, actually, no. B, give me a number. Between 1 and 13. Sorry.
Between 1 and 13. Okay, let's go number 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. C, give me a number between 1 and 13.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Number 28.
28. Okay.
28 it is.
The number 28 is James Caux. There you go, homie.
Hey.
All right. Good old James.
Yep. Get back to us and tell us what you want us to triple R, and we will do it. It's simple as that.
And don't say Psycho 1998.
Please. I'm gonna put ideas in his head. I wanted to be able to say I dropped dead without ever seeing that movie. I've said that out loud on podcasts before. I want to say I've never watched that movie. I wanted to die without ever seeing
You know
it.
what? That's not a bad way to go out as someone who's seen that movie.
I saw it in the theater.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow. No shit, huh? Okay, so time for another trip. I guess I'll get on mine. I've been going first, right? So, okay. This movie is, I gotta tell you, I think C said it last show or the show before maybe, but you said something recently about zombies in the last couple of years really making a comeback and being a strong subgenre for horror again. I got to tell you, I'm with you. I still have not seen Cargo. It's on my list. I know it's on my list. I know you liked it. So, but I've seen Ravenous. There was 2 or 3 last year that were really good. Stains of Sands Red, and what was the other one I liked? There was another one too. I forgot. But what was that one? Or was that this year? Either way, long story short, they've been doing pretty good because they've been flipped on their ass. They're not just zombies walking around killing people. They're taking the approach of Romero and The Walking Dead to a degree, where it's about characters and about the people, and it's not the World War Z shit with people running around, in hordes just tearing people up. It's different. So gotta say I like it. But this movie here is called The Cured. Has anybody seen this one?
no, I wanted to.
Jason
It was on my
Lloyd spoke
list,
very
actually.
highly of it, and it just came out somewhere. I don't know if it was on Shudder or what, but I noticed it was out on something. So I gotta check it out for sure.
It's on Prime to rent. Well, it's not Prime. It's on Amazon to rent. I know that. And that's all I know. But I'm going to read the synopsis on the B. It'll be easier that way. A disease that turns people into zombies has been cured. The once infected zombies are discriminated against by society and their own families, which causes social issues to arise. This leads to militant government interference. This is a very interesting concept for a film. It's people that have been cured. It only affected, bottom line is that there's 25% of the people that were infected with the zombie virus cannot be cured, where the other 75%, of course, can. So the thing is, these people were infected, and our 2 main characters, this is 4 years later, and they're named Senan and Connor. This movie comes to us from Ireland. These 2 people became friends. I believe they became friends when they were in the place where they were quarantined. I don't think they knew each other before. I can't be certain. I can't remember that. But they say that there's 5,000 now in Ireland that cannot be cured. And they're called it'll come to you later, but there's a name for them where they cannot be cured. But the other 75%, they found a cure, and it works. So I think it affected 20,000, and 5,000 just are there. So the 5,000 that remain are still zombies, but they're testing them. There's labs and there's things going on where they're trying to, see why they're rejecting the cure and what's going to happen. But the main story here really is the people that have beaten it and that are cured, and the way society is viewing them. They don't trust them, because they're still infected. But how can I put this? It's still in their system, but they're cured. Like, in other words, the ones that are zombies, the 25%, if they break out, they'll kill people walking around, but they will not kill the people that were once zombies that have been cured. They have a different scent. So to the zombies, they're still one of them. So it's the other people that were never infected to begin with that are the victims here. So they find that a little fishy. Well, you're still one of them. They won't attack you. There's a lot of social commentary, and it's so believable because I've never seen a movie do it quite this way. And something else is that they remember what they did. So if you become a zombie and you kill your whole family, and then you get cured later, you remember that you killed them. Your memories are still there. Something else we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. It's a different dynamic of a zombie film. And it's really cool because this guy Senan gets out and he goes back to his sister-in-law. So his brother was killed in the zombie infestation, And he goes back to his old house. I think it's his old house because his sister-in-law is there, and she has a son, and his name is Killian. And her name is Abby. very pretty girl. Actually, it's Ellen Page. Ellen Page plays Abby. And it took me, I was halfway through the film, and I just could not get over this girl, her personality, just her attractiveness. I was like, man, this girl's pretty. I liked everything about her. And then I looked her up eventually. I said, oh, that's Ellen Page. I didn't even realize it because I haven't really seen her. I've seen her like in a trailer or two, but I haven't really watched a movie with her in it since fucking Hard Candy, you know? So I wasn't even, she was a teenager then. Anyway, man, she's what?
Yeah, she's great. She's great in everything she does.
She's great, and she's so pretty, man. She's just something about her. He goes with her, and the other guy, Connor, tries to go back to his father's house, and his father wants nothing to do with him. I think he killed his mother, and I think it has something to do with it, obviously, and he just does not want to forgive him. And that's just the way it is. It's political times. People don't know what, people have very strong opinions. So now this Connor guy kind of forms another group where they're being discriminated against big time. So they want to rebel against these people. So they're trying to find ways in order to get things done where they're going to have casualties. And it gets, like I said, it's real hectic times. There's a lot of civil unrest. There's a lot of conflicts. There's like, almost Romero type drama in here. A lot of things going on. I'm not going to get into it. It's just a triple R. I'm going to keep it quick. But there's a cool reveal later involving the brothers. There's a surprisingly vicious kill at one point. The third act is where it becomes mayhem. And zombies run rampant and we see things. There's actually a jaw-dropping kill. Something I didn't expect it to see happening, and I like the way they wrapped it up at the end. But I'm not saying this is amazing. It's not a full head explosion, but it's close. It's still a half head for me, but it's a movie that I would still consider great. And if you're a fan of zombie films, infected films, you really have to check it out because there is not a movie like this. There's so much going on that doesn't, like the first two acts is pretty much drama. And then it gets, we say this a lot lately, and then it turns horror in the third act. That's when it really focuses on the zombies and the attack starts. But there's so much civil unrest and plotting and things going on and people that have different motives and different groups. It's a very interesting film, unlike any other zombie film. So, The Cured.
I like the idea of a serious themed zombie film dealing with cured zombies. Because, I mean, the only other film that I could think of where they became cured was Warm Bodies. And I don't hate on Warm Bodies like so many people like to. I don't know why they hate on that, but I love the more serious approach zombie films.
It's really cool because you have just different, it's like political. You have different people coming from each end.
Yeah.
We got to wipe these people out. We can't trust them. And then these people are getting pissed off. It's like, why the fuck don't they trust us? We're fine. And it's just things going on. And then just, got to check it out. I think people might even be coming in higher than I do. But
definitely check that out.
Looking forward to it.
Stuff.
You
All
going,
right.
B? Yeah.
I'll go quickly. This one's one from this year. It popped up on Prime, and it's called A Taste of Phobia. This was put out by Artsploitation Films, and that is a line I used to actually collect, and I'm glad I don't collect that line anymore.
Really?
For this anthology movie, producers Vestra Pictures assigned international directors with a phobia and sent them to work making a horror short about it. So some of the phobias we deal with in this is fear of medication, fear of germs, fear of hair, fear of feces. There's 14 of these, and each one gets progressively worse than the previous. And when it already starts out at the bottom, it goes fucking to hell pretty quick. Terrible acting, terrible set designs, no gore whatsoever, no writing, no direction, nothing redeemable about any of these 14 stories. In fact, if anything, these shorts are so hysterically bad that they should be used to help real people afflicted with these phobias. I tell you what, if you had a fear of any of these things and you watched a short based on it, you would laugh your ass off and be like, you know what, I'm cured.
What's this called again?
A Taste of Phobia. You know what? It just seemed like an ABCs of horror. ABCs of horror? Is that which one's your show? Which one's the movie?
ABC's of hidden horror.
Oh, okay. I get
ABCs of Death is the movie.
ABCs of Death. Okay, so I was combining your show and the movie. It's an ABCs of death. There's 14 shorts. I figure, how bad can this be? You know, worst case scenario, you'll get a handful of good ones. Nope. Terrible. Oh my God. It was.
Said no chance. Dude, it's 3.5 on the B, and the fucking box cover looks like shit.
I'll tell you what. The box cover
Shame
does look
on
like.
you.
The box cover does look like shit. It was not a 3.5 on the B when I watched it.
That's
It
part
was-
of my. Go ahead.
It was over a 5 at that point.
Yes, but at this point, there's only 62 ratings. See, that's the Dave Z method. You can't.
He's trying to sell the
true.
fucking method again.
I cannot watch a film if I'm unsure about it. There has to be at least 500 ratings, preferably 1,000, for me to count that rating for anything. What you do is, no matter what it is, you go to the freaking the reviews if you're not sure.
You're not going to get me to try to
That's a
become
fucking
a,
horrible cover.
become a customer of the Dave Z method, huh? How much are you selling this for?
Hey,
It's free. And any headite out there wants to know, I keep saying, just message me. I'll
okay,
tell you.
I want you to judge the next one I'm reviewing because I do have 2 left, and so my next one is.
I didn't even give a rating for this.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Brandon.
No,
I
it's
thought
okay.
No. What is your rating?
My rating is a 0.5.
Oh,
It's an implosion.
It's a full head implosion. This is the worst movie of the year by far, and nothing will ever come close to it.
0.5.
It's
Wow.
despicable. In fact, just real quick, I'm sorry, Christian, but real quick, here's how I was watching it. I was watching this legally. I paid $99 a year for Amazon Prime, and I was watching a movie legally on Amazon Prime. It was so bad, I turned it off of Prime. I went onto an illegal site just so I could have the ability to 1.5 it. And that's how I finished it. And I even 2 times did a bunch of times. And you know what?
Nice.
It was just as bad at 2 times the speed. 0.5 out of 10. Shame on all 400 directors.
Oh, I would love you to check. I bet you anything though, this one has a little bit more merit than that, but not much. And it's called Shhh.
Hold on. SHHH.
H.
Okay, 2018. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you what it is.
Don't look at the rating.
3.7.
Yeah, I'll go. You look at
3.7 on the B. Only 67 ratings. 2 red flags. And the box.
the box
How
is
come you're
better
not
than Taste of Phobia.
How come you're not shaming Christian?
Because the box is better than Taste
Yes.
Taste of Phobia for
The
sure.
box is better than Taste of Phobia.
It's actually
I-
and actually it's not a bad box.
It's not a bad.
It's not a bad box.
it's
I'll
not
stand
bad.
by
It can
that.
be taken a certain way.
I've eaten worse.
Okay. However, the movie is bad. The movie is bad. And okay, so this movie, 2018, directed by Jason Rutherford. While Harris and his mother enjoy bonding at the movies, it seems the jerks in the theaters are making it harder for them to enjoy the show. Soon, someone starts murdering those disrupting the film, and now Harris finds himself not only confronting his past, but questioning his own sanity as well. Here's the major problem with it. Major problem is it's an ultra low budget movie. And again, I don't do well with ultra low budget movies, so I try to go in with an open mind now. But this one is just like, even watch the trailer to this, and you'll see like shots where like there's like electrical equipment all behind like people's heads, and you're like, why didn't they frame this differently? So there's like bumbling cops that are on the case. There's some really bad gore. It really tries to be shocky. So like I can see certain people liking this. Where I think if I'm going by memory, because I saw this a long time ago, but I believe it was a pregnant woman gets stabbed and her baby falls out or something like that. Like it tries to be like a trauma movie, but
Yeah.
it falls flat. I love the premise. I love the fact that, you know, it's going after all the people that are annoying in the theater and kind of killing them off. However, it's not enough to pass the movie by any means. And it is like a 3.5 out of 10.
Oof.
Tops. There's a couple, I laughed a couple of times here and there, but I cannot recommend this movie for anybody to see.
Well, I can't even believe it. This was the original cover. Look at that.
Oh, that's even worse.
Fucking
It's horrible.
horrible.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's just a girl covered in blood going,
Yeah.
shh.
Oh, the other one's a lot better with the.
Yeah, but see, when you look on the V, sometimes you get the original cover, and you can look at that and know it's terrible. Oh,
I got to admit, that cover art that they're using now is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too. It's an old school artwork cover.
Yeah.
And the movie has, like, obviously, the movie has the setting of a movie theater, And so that's cool, but it's just so schlockily done. Like, there's no production value to it whatsoever. It's a guy with a camcorder filming in really bad locations and bad lighting. It's you have to put a little effort into the movie for me to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Lloyd Kaufman is in this movie.
Yes.
It says. Unbelievable. Well, how about this tagline? If you talk or text, you're next. Yeah.
I love how Dave like questions our sanity watching these movies.
I just don't know why you waste your time on shit like this when there's better movies out there, and then you come in, and I don't understand it.
I gotta do it.
Yeah, I feel the need to do it too sometimes. Even though I know better. We know better, Dave. That should make you feel. That probably makes it worse, but I feel it should make you feel better.
I like this better than Brimstone. This is more horror for sure.
Oh. There you go.
I'm kidding.
Let's move on. We have to do our...
The Littlest Reich.
Indeed, the Littlest Reich.
Indeed.
Every time he says that, I want to go indubitably.
Indubitably.
Yeah, let's hear about it, B.
All right. Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich from 2018. All hell breaks loose when a strange force animates the puppets up for auction at a convention, setting them on a bloody killing spree that's motivated by an evil as old as time.
Do we have to do anything publicity-wise?
Yeah.
Because it is a screener?
Oh, maybe I should read. Yeah, thank you.
Because people are talking about this and saying they can't wait to see it. It's supposed to hit certain theaters in 2 weeks.
I would love to see this in the movies. This movie was so much fun.
So much fun. I'm glad we got the screener. So thank you, whoever sent that screener to us, because...
I think it was Charles Band.
Here we go. Littlest Reich, from the producers of 1408 and the writer and producers of Bone Tomahawk, RLJE Films, on the new vision of Charles Band's horror classic Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. This film made its world premiere earlier this year at the Overlook Film Festival, and will be released in theaters and on VOD and digital HD on August 17th.
Okay, well, first off, I didn't realize that this was the 12th movie in the franchise. And for anybody out there that says, wait a second, it's the 13th one, I mean, it's not really including that Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys from 2004. I guess that's not canon, supposedly, even though it was made by, not canon, but Full Moon.
How awesome is that opening credit sequence?
Oh, it's fucking great. So this movie is great. And the reason this movie is great is because I actually gave a shit. I haven't even cared about this series since part 3. I told you guys this. I saw 4 and 5 and then 1 or 2 of the other ones. But I fucking gave up on this series decades ago. Like, it's crazy. Like, this was fun. And it's fun because the script is playful and the main actors are fantastic. They make you
because the
actually
main
care
actors
about
are
them.
real actors.
Yeah.
They got legitimate names in there.
I was shocked. So you get this schlocky kind of opening, but it's funny as shit.
Yeah.
Ghastly homosexuals. Do you notice that it takes place in 1989, a nod to the original, of course. They're in a bar. Who brings their own lemon to make a drink at a bar?
Only the Germans do.
Yeah.
She cuts that lemon in like a millisecond, gives him this drink, and goes, "It's $1." I'm like, what? A bar? $1 a drink? This is fantastic. And he hands her a wad of bills, and he asks if there's anything smaller. It's $1. $1 is a bill. If you hand a wad of bills, he hands her like a wad of cash, and she asks if there's anything smaller, but the drink was only $1.
I thought it was like a crumpled up 50 or something.
Yeah, I figured it was a big bill.
I think it's a wad. It was a wad of money. I thought that was just hilarious. Like
I'm looking at Toulon's wad. This is Puppet Master The Littlest Reich, not Toulon's wad.
Fangoria is responsible for this film.
Yes, they are.
Nice.
For distribution. I mean, when did Fangoria release anything worth anything film-wise?
I feel ya.
Fabio Frizzi doing the score to this?
Yeah, Fabio Frizzi, and it works. It's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that in a bit, too, because the score is good.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everything about this was surprisingly way above average, way better than I was expected it to be. The script is so playful. Like when they're so the main character meets this really hot new girl, and they're gonna go to I guess this convention where these puppets are going to be, and his friend at the manager of the comic store, the owner of the comic store, goes like, "They're like, is something wrong?" He goes, "Yeah, I get this weird cough when I'm not invited to things." I fucking wrote that line down. I lost my mind when I heard
Markowitz. That. Markowitz was great.
Markowitz it's great. And then when he's like, "Can I come?" He's like, "Okay, but no metal, no grindcore."
Grindcore. Yeah.
It was just one line after another, and he gets to the hotel, and the fucking bellhop or the guy checking them in is like, "Oh, you must be Markowitz." He's like, "Why? Because I look like a Jew? Are you Markowitz?" Yes.
Yeah, that was good. Shit.
Like, when was ever any child's play? When was any Puppet Master ever this playful? They were all very formulaic, and this one, like, has that puppet aspect that's all kind of from that realm of film, but with this playful script.
Well, playful to an extent. Then when you find their motives, it's like, okay, they're knocking off homosexuals and they're knocking off Jews. I'm like, okay, wow, this is pretty this is pretty hardcore.
Yeah. At the 35-minute mark, all shit hits the fan. Well,
yeah.
Instead of talking about Ray, let's talk about Barbara Crampton is back. She was from the Orig. She's back in this one.
She's not very good in this.
Her speech was too fucking boring. She spoke in that tour. That was the one time in this film where I checked out. It was like a 15-minute tour. It could have been done in 3 minutes.
I think they're just wedging her character in. Doesn't she get the line, is that a 9?
Yeah, terrible.
I thought that was funny.
You didn't like that? That was funny.
That was funny.
Felt forced.
It felt forced.
At a movie like this, it felt forced.
No, this was a serious tone film, I thought, for the most part. The only issue I took with this is, given the motive of the puppets, they introduced too many new puppets that looked Muppetish.
Like Muppetish?
Yes. Too many.
Puppets.
I thought this juggled seriousness with goofiness, but it did it well. I'm not like, I still love the movie.
How can you have Kaiser burning a Jewish couple, and then the next second you have a green frog and a green, I don't even know what it was, like a praying mantis attacking someone?
That's what I'm saying. It's goofy. Like,
yeah, but it wasn't balanced well enough.
You don't think it was balanced well?
No.
Wow.
I thought you were just saying you did think it was all, what?
No, I had a blast with it, but it wasn't balanced well enough for this, because you have a serious theme here, but at the same time, then you have all these crazy jokes thrown in.
It's true. That whole lead up to the Jewish couple getting burned alive, which was really disturbing, it's this big triumphant speech about how he wanted to buy Nazi paraphernalia that kind of stuff it to the Jews, and then he gets his face fried off by said doll. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And then it's just one thing after another. They get burned alive. That really gross. It's like gory as shit, this movie. The foot slice scene, the big-breasted girl after she's getting
she was
boned against the window, gets stabbed.
Right. Yes.
And that pregnant girl, without spoiling anything.
I was laughing, though, because of the way it played out.
It's fucking... Like, I mean, I usually don't like that type of death. I find it too forced, but in this movie, it was so... In, like, Human Centipede 2, I hated it. In this, I was, like, laughing.
Yep, I agree.
I'd say it's the walk away that makes it funny.
Yes, of course, what it was doing. Yes, absolutely. And that part when the couple's fucking, and oh my God, that is, I don't think I'll see a more attractive woman in horror this year than that blonde girl in this movie. I was just flabbergasted at how beautiful this woman was. And they were having sex, and he was standing up, and he was freaking doing her doggy style standing up. And the best part is when he cuts when he slices his Achilles, when he gets his ankle, and he goes down, and they both fall back together because they're doing it.
Yeah.
She thinks he doesn't know what's happening. She goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" Then he was having sex that way with her. Could you? I wish I could do that. I can't do that with my wife, but someone should try that. Someone should do that to a girl and just fall back as you're standing up having sex with her and see what they do. Like keep pumping.
I think a severe injury would take place.
And
Yeah, I guess
there's all that death, all the death we're just talking about, and that's not even the massacre sequence. Because then there's a whole massacre sequence. That
And
comes
you kind of get 2 massacre sequences.
Yeah.
Plus a whole lot of deaths sprinkled in. It's hard to keep track of all the deaths. There's so much.
Well, and that's what I said. This is where it faults at the second turning point, I think, where it's the big sort of massacre sequence. That's where I thought the music was great, but it didn't fit the movie or the action on the screen.
I thought you might say that.
Something started feeling disjointed, and that started throwing me off. So I was like all on board, and then I started feeling like the end part felt rushed, like they ran out of money. And they're like, oh shit, we got to now fit everything that we've done together to kind of put this into a clean package. I'm not saying it ruins the movie by any means, but
I feel like it was intentionally done that way. I feel like it was intentionally done that way to start a whole cash cow here, to start a whole new franchise.
Oh, well, of course, but there was definitely, after this big setup and everything that we got, and they deliver on so much, I felt that the climax kind of was a bit lacking. However, you do get kid death, and you get that line, kill that fucking baby. What other movie has a line like that?
Baby Hitler in the oven?
Fucking
Oh,
great.
yeah.
It's fucking great. It's a little
It's
sloppy.
fucking great.
It's a little sloppy editing at the end. But you know what? It didn't destroy the movie by any means. And I love the actual end where he's at the comic convention and everything like that. And as you said for the cash cow thing, spoiler alert, it just says to be continued.
Right. The jump death thing got me. That was cool.
When she misses the dumpster.
I was
Beautiful.
not expecting that.
Yes. But I will complain that all of a sudden there was a solution. That was a little weird. Like, it happened so quickly. Oh, I'll just do this and I'll do that. Boom. And a whole movie of all this stuff, and it's a sudden solution. But despite that, it was still a solid ending.
I like Markowitz using Ms. Manor as bait.
Yes. Yeah. That was good too.
We didn't even bring up the best character in the film. And yes, I'm going to say
he's
he's
hilarious. And not only that, the post-credit sequence is hilarious in this movie too.
Don't ask.
Wait a minute. Here's what I want to. Getting back to that. Toulon.
Toulon was the weakest part of the movie.
But here's the deal.
The ending of him, I didn't like.
Toulon was not a Nazi in the original series. They painted him as a Nazi in this part. He had dealings with the Nazis, but it was reluctancy. Don't you remember that the Nazis were coming after Toulon, and he hid the freaking dolls? Now they're making it out that Toulon was a Nazi. Am I right or am I wrong here?
No, you're right. They're rewriting the story now. They're rewriting Toulon as a Nazi, and now the whole motive for the new franchise is his little Reich coming back and killing the undesirables, as they would call them back then.
Yeah, weird, huh?
Killing Jewish people, African Americans, and cuddly bears.
How about that girl at the end? And the guy said, and she said, 60% chance. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, right before he dies. Right?
Yeah, that was great.
Well, again, a good script play. There was some good banter.
Shalom, amigo. Shalom, amigo. That's what he says right before he dies.
Yes, he did.
I want to be remembered as a great Jewish hero. Shalom, amigo.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. What a fun movie, man. Good gore and fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I just wish they had maybe made all the puppets a little bit more Reichy.
Oh, really? I got tired of the Reichy aspect.
No, I like they're the scary ones. When you got like a grasshopper running around, it just kind of threw me off a little bit. Baby Hitler was okay because at least it has to do with like the time period, the Nazis and stuff like that, but it just the bugs and stuff and the animals didn't make sense.
I don't remember bugs and animals.
There was like a green grasshopper or something.
There was? What is this? Fucking Dracula 3D, our general?
I don't know. There was something green, and I remember thinking these look third Reichy, and this green guy looks like first or second Reichy.
Well, there's a bunch of new puppets too, and I am assuming they're new. Because there's the drone one that just flies around.
Yeah,
and whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, I assume these guys are new. I don't think they're the Axis trilogy, whatever the fuck it's called. The 3 that came out.
I never saw those. I only saw like the first 5, and I don't really remember them that well.
I watched the first 4 last year. I saw the first one when I was a kid, and I didn't see any ever since. And last year, I talked about it on the show. I think I reviewed all 4 of them in like 10 minutes. I said I watched the first 4, and I didn't feel the need to watch any more after 4, and that was it. And then I watched this one, and this one was a lot of fun.
This was the best out of. This one was better than any of them from my memory. But I'm not a huge fan of this series.
Ratings wise, I rate it the same as the original Puppet Master, and I quite enjoyed that too.
Well, again, because it's a new movie and we're doing our head ratings, I give it half a head explosion.
Yeah, me too. Half head explosion.
Yep, on the high end of it though.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Definitely a high end.
High end, half head explode.
High end, half head explosion with lots of cuddly bears.
All right, well, what do we got? A triple R, a piece, and then we jet. Oh, wait, no. See, you got another triple R or no?
I got one more.
There we go. Okay, I'll do my last.
Yeah, you go because I'm always the shortest in these.
In more ways than one. So, I heard Derek B talk about this a few months ago. I don't know if he was guesting on 22 Shots or if he mentioned it on Cinema Attack. But ever since he mentioned it, I've been looking for it and waiting to see it pop up on VOD somewhere or this and that. And it took a while, but the thing is that it hasn't. The only way to get this movie is to order it from their site. And it's Hex Media. And you can go to their website and you can order it, and it costs like $30 and change. But it may be worth it. But this movie is called The Black Gloves. And I'm going to read the B here. It says, The Black Gloves tells the story of a psychologist obsessed with the disappearances of his young patient and the menacing owl-headed figure that plagues her nightmares. His investigations lead him to a reclusive ballerina who, just like his patient, is convinced that she is about to die at the hands of this disturbing entity. In the bleak Scottish Highlands, Finn counsels his new patient under the watchful eye of her sinister ballet teacher. He soon finds himself entangled in a ballet of paranoia, dark agendas, and a maze of deadly twists and turns as the legend of the Owl Man becomes a terrifying reality. I'll tell you what, this film, it looks, feels, and sounds great. The cinematography is awesome. It's black and white. It's a black and white film, and it's done so well. It's definitely artsy. They play around with the sound design a lot. It has an old Gothic-y feeling. When the movie first begins, the way the title card comes up, it looks like something from the 50s or something. Some of the acting, you hear the black gloves and you think Giallo, and it is Giallo-like to a degree. But
this one.
You should be intrigued. You're gonna like it. It's the Giallo parts of it to me it's more like Italian acting, like the way some of the actors speak and behave, especially this ballet teacher who's freaking flies off the handle all the time for like no good reason, like absurdly, kind of like the way they do in Italian films. It's like that. It has to be done intentionally. But the movie itself the guy is Scottish, the psychiatrist. Let me take a look and see where this actually hails from, because it's country of origin. Okay, United Kingdom. Well, not everybody is Scottish. There's different accents, but it says United Kingdom, so whatever. But the main guy is definitely Scottish. But he in the beginning we see this girl being chased by him. He's the doctor and her uncle. She ends up seeing this figure. Man, there's some fucking visuals in this film when you see this creature, and because in Swan Lake apparently there's an owl-headed figure, and I believe they play upon that in the movie Stage Fright. I can't remember if they were doing Swan Lake or not, but you do have that famous owl-headed figure in Stage Fright from the 80s, the slasher, Giallo, whatever. And it's reminiscent of that, but because this movie's black and white and because of the way it's filmed and how great they do the lighting and the sound and the way they work with shadows and everything, there are some genuinely creepy shots. In the beginning, you see this figure, and he has these long claw hands, and then she can see it, but no one else can. And then the uncle shoots, and then, anyway, the girl ends up falling off the cliff and dying, and she's a younger girl. And then this guy starts investigating what happened, and it takes him to another dancer, ballerina, and then he ends up going to this place where the instructor is and where this girl is leaving now, trying to uncover what the hell is going on here. And he gets sucked in. He ends up staying there to help out. He becomes her psychiatrist, and this woman who's nuts is actually okay with him staying there, but it's a very rocky relationship. There's a lot of back and forth between him trying to figure her out and this woman's control over her. And meanwhile, this guy's having crazy dreams and things are going on. And the dancer says, hey, you're going to start seeing things too. There's something afoot here, and obviously something's up. But man, oh man, there's also a scary rocking horse in this movie. That shit scares me, man. There's a scary rocking horse in this movie. They can make anything scary in this movie by the way they shoot it and the way the sound is. It's just one of those films. Being black and white helps, and there's gothic imagery. It's creepy. There's such good stuff going on here, and a lot of times you hear wind blowing in the background, and I don't know if that's supposed to be signifying wind or that's just the director messing with the viewer. But they're inside this house, and you hear like outside a lot, and I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff they do. And the performances are cool. The story is cool. It's the kind of movie you just want to sit down and get engulfed in. It's an artsy piece, but it's not something I would recommend watching even with other people around. It's something that you have to concentrate on and get into. But really impressed with this film. It's a full head explosion. Hopefully it comes, somewhere on VOD where it's more accessible and people don't have to spend that kind of money. It was also available on another site. It was being sold secondhand on a site besides theirs for like $10 cheaper, but they've since sold out. I forgot which one it was. Not Diabolic, but one of them sites where they sell DVDs and Blu-rays. And I can't remember which one it was. But The Black Gloves, check it out. And 7 out of 10 for this year on 30 out of 37 films. Dave Z Method.
I want you to allow yourself to watch one film that you think is going to be shit.
Okay, you throw a bunch my way, and I'll pick one. Fine.
I don't want it to be shit though. I just want it to upset you. Not upset you in a bad way. Upset you prove you wrong. All right, my last movie is going to be a quick one. It's one Dave covered a few shows ago. It's called Incident in a Ghost Land.
Oh, I was hoping to see this.
Yes, a mother of two who inherits a house is confronted with murderous intruders on the first night in their new home and fights for her daughter's life. 16 years later, when the daughters reunite at the house, things get really strange. This one's written and directed by the guy who did Martyrs. And I'll say I was quite impressed with this. The first thing that really stuck out to me was the acting. Terrific. One of the best jump scares of this year by far in this film.
Wow.
Amazing set pieces. I love the Victorian doll setting of the house. And the intruders are absolutely just mean-spirited and genuinely freaky and terrifying. Now, I will say this. It's presented as a sort of a twist leading up to the second, third act as to what's going on. It's very easy to see what's going on. I saw it a million miles away, and it didn't have to be presented as a twist. It was still super effective. It just would have been more effective had they not used it as a twist. You understand what I'm saying, Dave?
It took me by surprise, man.
I
wasn't making any sense of it. I was like, how the fuck? The thing is, as I'm watching the movie, when the first thing happens and I find out, then there's another twist later. So to me, there was two twists. And as I'm watching it, my problem was, and it's not a problem because I still like the movie, but my issue as I'm watching it is how are they going to wrap this up? I wasn't thinking about what was being presented in front of me. I was thinking about how are they going to make all this make sense? That's what I was thinking of until the final reel. And then I was then I went online like I did when I told you this when I watched the movie. I had to go online and see other people's interpretations of the film. And then and then I was like, oh, that's what's going on in this movie. So something obvious.
I saw it immediately.
This always happens with me.
The minute I saw 16 years later, I was like, no. And I just understood immediately what was going on. And it was super effective, my type of film, because very super psychological, super mean-spirited and violent and nasty, but with a good story and characters you cared about. So that's, ultimately what makes it a success for me. If all the characters were like our lead villains here, then this movie would just be terrible and you just never want to watch it again.
Yeah.
For me, it's borderline just below a full head explosion. It's a half head explosion, but it's right there. It will be rewatched for the year end.
I can't wait to see it.
It's great. It really is.
I think it's on somewhere now. See, I think it arrived on Netflix or something. I could be wrong. 'Cause
I don't, maybe it is. I don't know.
I'll have a look for it.
I will say this, though, that one of the daughters, the young daughter, got injured on set in this movie.
That's right. There was a big lawsuit. She got disfigured with glass or some shit, right?
Yeah,
she got the shit beat out of her.
Face. Yeah.
Yeah. Because these girls were beat on, just like Martyrs. Same guy that did Martyrs, and like I said, didn't I say there's similar dynamics to this movie?
Yeah, it's definitely on a similar wavelength, not the same wavelength. It's mean-spirited and it's brutal at times, but it's really well done. This director knows what he's doing.
Definitely.
All right, my last film. It's called Scarecrows. It's not the 1988 Scarecrows. It's a new one, a Canadian film. It was shot an hour away from where I live in Markham, Ontario. I got to tell you, once again, from a technical aspect, a great looking movie. It sounds good. The acting's great. It looks good. I mean, there's no issue there. The downfall is the first half is really good, and I was on board, and I thought I found a hidden gem, and it kind of falls apart in the second half. Now, I lost every note on this movie, but I do recall how much I enjoyed the first half and where it was going and all the buildup, and I just thought the payoff was so run-of-the-mill that it was forgettable. I am going to give you a little bit. So here's the plot line. It's very short. Teenagers are kidnapped and made into scarecrows that are left to die in the crop fields. Boom. Even funnier than that, it's 2 reviews that are on IMDb as we speak that I have to read. User reviews by JFA. I liked that part in the cornfield. 9 out of 10. It was really funny and scary. I recommend it. I like that part in the cornfield.
Okay.
He likes that part in the cornfield. And then this one was an 8 out of 10. Fun, old school B movie slasher with campy fun and sexy girls by Dark Lord Mark. I have no idea what the other reviewers were watching. This was a fun movie. It had sexy girls, horny guys, and a poor moral compass for the heroes and heroines.
That's why you liked it, Christian.
Had very good pacing and never boring. The film is unique in it was mostly, if not all of it, was done without CGI. A rarity today. Everything looked real. The locations were actually somewhat beautiful in that southern trailer park type of way. Really? I didn't know that. It's essentially about a slasher killer who uses a gardening tool to catch his victim and do vile things to them. It has some nice gore and some nudity. The girls look nice. Their bodies were natural, and you felt like you could get with these girls. It's kind of a creepy review. I must say the acting was very campy. The actors seemed to know that this was a horror comedy and performed as such. This was not a horror comedy. I am not associated with this film or anyone involved. I just like finding and watching movies that are smaller, and this movie fit that criteria. It is fast-paced, sexy, funny, and well-performed. I will give it an 8.5 easily. Highly recommended, in my opinion. I see what the guy's saying, and I'm there for the first half, if not more, but like I said, it kind of falls apart at the end. I can't give it, it's a mild rumble, tops. It's a little bit better than average, but because it falls apart, I can't go any higher than that.
I'm kind of on pace with you, Dave, with, I think I've seen about 59 films so far from this year. I would say probably, I really don't know what percentage it is. Maybe 60% are in the average range. 70% maybe. I think I'm doing well. A percentage that I'm happy with. I'm kind of losing my math here in my head, but I've seen more average to above average than I have below average this year.
There you go. That's what I've been saying. I'll tell you what. For me, I have only like 4 to 5 heavy hitters, and everything else is just above average, but not blowing me away. That's just the year. It's the year and a half head, but it's still consistent. For me, like I said, 30 out of 37, that's pretty good. It's a consistent year for me because I'm being selective in what I'm watching. And I guess I picked the right year to do it because apparently you guys are watching things that are shitty. And, you know, I've only seen a couple shitballs and other ones that are just average at best. But my selective, the Dave Z method is working this year. And I'm going to stick with it, man.
I'm just counting up my films that are 6 or above.
You can't even do that. I'm going 7 and above, and you can't. Oh, see what I mean? And guess what I have yet to watch? Movies.
I haven't seen Hereditary yet this year. There's a lot I haven't seen, but 47 out of 59 are rated 6 or above. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when I rate something a 6, it's something I would rewatch. Yeah, so that's 80% at 6 or above. So that's a pretty good percentage for me. And with the exception of A Taste of Phobia tonight, I haven't, I've probably only had 2 films below 5 or 3 films below 5. So it just hasn't been a bad year. But again, it's not a top-heavy year. There's not a lot of amazing stuff. I'm not, like, if we were to do a year-end show right now, I'd be maybe excited to talk about 2 or 3 films.
Oh, I have more than that, and I'm still have a ton to watch as well. I think.
Yeah, I still have a
Me
ton.
too. I have ones that you guys recommended that are sitting here on the back burner. Wildling, I had to see. Monsters, Cargo, The Strangers Prey at Night. I haven't watched any of these movies. And there's movies that I'm looking forward to, like The Endless, Black Hollow Cage, Primal Rage, Revenge. Those are movies I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah,
So,
Revenge is really good.
I have those 4 movies and the 4 that you guys recommended. So out of those 8 movies, I bet you 7 of those are a 7 or higher. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. Shit the bed. So I still have good things to look forward to, man. I just take my notes and I sit down. Okay, this is going to be something. So I'm going to leave it there. And
You know what
So,
movie? You know what movie I'd like to hear you review? Because I honestly think it's a movie where you might be in. It might be a movie where you're going to be way lower than I am, but it's one of my favorite movies of the year so far, and that's Mon Monsters.
I'm going to watch it.
I just have a feeling it's not your type of movie. You're not going to like it, but I think it's a great film, so I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that one.
I'll get on it. Hopefully we'll have another show like this before the year end where we can talk some more 2018s.
Yeah, and Christian and I have to see Hereditary.
The next show, yes. The next show is another franchise, Psycho sequels.
Woo.
Yes, indeed. We've already done Psycho on the Proto Slasher special, so we aren't going to do that again. So that leaves 2, 3, and 4. And yes. Oh, it is still a sequel because it's half flashback and half. Yeah. So it's not even a prequel. It's half and half. I was going to say some smart ass is going to say Psycho 4 is a prequel, but no, it's not. It's both. It takes place in that pleasant.
It's got a foreign title. It's a sequel.
There you
One
go.
way or the
That's
other.
true. That's true.
Oh, I'm
So
looking
yeah.
forward to that.
Me too. Big time. Big time, baby. Yes. So that's the next show. And we are going to review Hereditary. I think it's being dropped in September, and we have to do that for a Patreon pick. So there you go. We will be watching that one.
Coolio.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.